Good morning, everyone. Come on in. Let me get something set up while I let everyone in. Here we go. All right. So I've got the roster set up. I want to correct the emails that are wrong. Here we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So I've got the correct one for Kim now.
Okay, great. Thank you, Deanna. I didn't spend a long time changing it, but thank
It
you.
worked. It worked.
I tried, but it didn't work, so I was going to have to go to greater lengths. So whatever you did, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Actually, this is the one that this worked because this is the one that I'm talking about is the one I downloaded, not the one I fixed. So it must have worked. That's what I'm saying, that I'm looking at the ones that did work. Who else was it? Polly, no. Who else was it that needed to have the right? I don't have the video on because I'm looking at the roster, you guys. When I look at the roster, I can't. Look at me. Sometimes I'm sharing. Okay, I had spoken to a couple of people who needed the correct email. Whoever did not get an email from me last week, I did not send one this week. I'm trying to remember who it was. I'll have to open my old roster if you guys don't answer. I had them marked out. Okay, student list. I have two. From October 6th. Let me see this one. Okay, so Therese, are you there? Nope. Okay, because that's one of the ones that's wrong. And Cynthia, did you change yours officially? Oh, I guess neither Cynthia nor Therese are here. Okay, no, Cynthia's is there. So it's just Teresa's missing. Okay, I got it. All right, so I'm going to hide this stuff and I'm going to put you guys up. And log into my other system. Okay. So here we go. Hold on. Oh, so many things to save. As soon as I start, there we go. And save. Okay. I have to sign out of one of my accounts. By the time I explain this to you guys, I will hopefully you'll understand what it is that I'm doing. But anyway, I'm having to save before I can change accounts, and I didn't know I had so many unsaved things. Okay, don't save. And yeah, save. Sorry about that. When I change accounts to one to the other, you can leave software open, but you can't keep unsaved files. And I had been working hard yesterday on some stuff that I hadn't saved yet. When I teach you guys, I teach you from a teaching account. And let me explain a little bit what I'm saying about that. You can use your computer as if you had different computers. Like one computer can turn into 10 computers, so to say. I wouldn't recommend it for it to work well, but you can. And for those of you who remember going into class at school, then you might remember when we did that, in that you walk into any old computer, type in your password, and there you are. You have a computer that you can use, okay? And yet it opens up as if it's as empty as if no one has ever used it before, because each computer can be opened up as if it were a different account. And that is how I have set it up. And if any of you has spouse or a housemate that needs to use the same computer as you, but you don't want to have everything reporting to just one device. So say that you don't want all your computer to be set up only to then filter into one of the like phones. The other person basically has their own island. Then you can set each person up with their own account on your computer. So you would go to the account section, we're going to be visiting that, and just create a new account. And then whenever, say, Susie clicks in, the computer is hers with her files, her calendar, her address book, her assignments, her files. And then you just log out, and then, you know, in comes Mark, logs in, and that's his calendar, his engagements, his phones, his everything. And it's the same computer, okay? And so you put each one of these accounts signing in to each one's individual Apple ID, right? In which case, then your phone connects and has its own engagements and calendars and everything, and the other person. So you can use one computer for both people. Does that make sense? The important thing is that you need to put in your own Apple ID, but you can't put two Apple IDs on one account. So you can't all just open the computer and use it and have see two different calendars or two different things. For that, you need to set it up as a separate account, and you go to either or. Anyway, so as I said before, I know that Becky and Owen here have their computer set up that way. You see them show up here twice, but they're showing up separately from their own accounts. And there's an alarm going on. Okay, it sounds like a fire alarm, but it's my son's very loud school alarm. And I have that same thing set up, only my second account is my teaching account. Okay, so, oh, I haven't started my video yet. So on goes my video. Now that I'm not showing rosters and stuff, I've got the wrong, this to this account. I have my different, let me give my video. Is it on the right thing now? Oh, because I changed. There we go. Okay. So there we go. So to do all of this that I've been talking about, you need to look at everything that I've been talking about, and all the things that I've been saying come from the system preferences. And so once the system preferences are open, I'm going to show you around them a little bit. Let me share the screen for system preferences. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead and don't forget to go into your chat and write a little hello or something like that. And anyway, what I'm showing you right now is my system preferences. These are the system preferences of a Mojave account, by the way.
Deanna, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Did my sound turned off?
No, your sound is fine, Diana.
Oh, okay. So
Can't hear you.
all right. Well, let me write to you. Myself. Everyone else can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, let me write to Marie. I don't know why she stopped hearing me.
Maybe she just needs to turn the sound up on her computer, you know, one of those little.
Yeah, but I have to write to her to say that, Marie, my sound is fine. Everyone else hears me. check your sound volume or settings. Okay. So, all right. So now there, I hope she reads that. Okay. So back to where I was. I'm
No.
sharing. I
Can't hear me if the dogs bark. I'll put it.
And I start ramming them this
what?
right this minute.
Who's speaking? Oh, Grace in the background. You're speaking. Can you turn your sound off, please? All right. So down here at the bottom left, in the Mojave version, you see the iCloud icon that I've sent you to a couple of times already, right? In the iCloud is where you're going to be able to connect to your Apple ID, right? But you can only connect to one Apple ID at a time. So say that you have two people in the computer in the house using the computer, or who need to use the computer, or who have iPhones whose main computer is this one computer. Then what you need to do is actually have a separate account. How many of you might be in that situation? Go ahead and give me a yes if you have more than one person using your computer, and give me a no if you are the only one who uses your own computer. Okay, so no, I'm the only person who uses my computer. Yes, more than one of us in my household needs to use this computer. So that's yes, green for more than one, red no for not just myself. Because I need to, there we go, have an idea. All right, so I'm seeing quite a few answers. I'm not seeing all the answers, but I am seeing quite a few of them. There we go. So I'm gonna, there we go. Marie, can you hear me now since you have said yes?
yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
Great.
Panic time.
I was waiting for you to mark it going, oh, she still can't hear me because she usually marks stuff. Okay, good. So you're hearing me. All right. So here's the thing. About 3 or 4 of you guys have said, four of you guys, in fact, have said that you would have more than one person needing to check into your computer. So here I'm going to show you rather quickly, since it's not something that applies to the whole group. But over here, right underneath the iCloud, you see the users and groups. You see that there? The users and groups is a place where you can choose in your computer. And I just clicked on it in this case. And you can see different accounts that are set up. And this particular computer I'm sharing you from is my little old, it's a little old laptop that belongs to other place that I work for, which is SB Bike. And if you look here on the left, it says Deanna's teaching, how I set it up to be able to do my Zoom admin. But see how it says other users, and it has an SBCC account that I use when I had to work on this computer when mine wasn't working. And then I have the SB Bike, which is the actual owner of this computer. So I can sign in as any of these 3. And even if it's me, I'm not having 2 other people using it, but I am using this computer for 2 very different uses. If I go to my SB Bike account, then I have a lot of administration and material and information and whatnot, and I connect to work calendars and stuff. And when I'm not working with this computer for SB Bike, I just connect as a teacher. And so there I have all of my rosters and my things and whatever. So you can also use it as one person when you really want to keep things separate, like work and personal. Okay, so none of these is personal. And then the last one, which is what I'm using right now, teaching, is where I have no settings. Everything is empty so that I can show you a computer with its basic setup and settings. So basically, each time I go to one of these, I am the main admin, but when you're in one of these accounts, nothing of the other account gets shared. So now put yourself in the position that this is one name and this is your spouse and this is your housemate, right? So each person can come up, and the moment you turn on your computer, you can say, who am I? I am Deanna. Or who am I? I am Mark. Or who am I? I am Jane. You sign in, and the computer is completely independent from anyone else. And all of the files and all of the material you use, the only thing that's shared is software. If you have software installed in one, they can use that software in the other. But the files you create stay in only one of the accounts, okay? So I'm showing this to you for the third possible choice. If you don't, all of you who don't have another spouse or housemate, or maybe you have someone who lives with you who shares your computer, or you want to share it with different jobs like I have here, then the one that just about everyone could use is the guest user, which, as you see here, the guest user is off. But the guest user comes into play when you guys have guests that come to your house and want to use your computer. So now go ahead and change to a yes if anyone ever has that situation, that when people come to your house, they need to use your computer. Like your kids come and stay for 3 days, or you have, for any reason, been asked, hey, can I use your computer when someone's in your house? And again, nowadays with people having their phones, which are like little computers, many people don't go there, but I'm seeing quite a few more yeses. Maybe a grandchild comes and wants to play games. You basically have to turn your computer over to someone for a little while. Now I'm getting a lot more yeses turned on. And especially when it's a grandchild or a son or a daughter, sometimes they tend to not think they know more. In general, they do tend to know more than, grown-ups about computers, but especially when they're of an age where they decide that they need to set the computer up for you. I've had so many people who have are grandparents who come back saying, oh my God, my grandchild spent the weekend with me and now I don't know what's happening with my computer. Or they changed everything, right? Because they do things to the computer. So if that could happen to be one of you guys, and then down here at the bottom, I have my guest user off, but this one is very easy to turn on. And when you turn it on, whenever someone is a guest, you can have them use that account. So it's not something you're going to use all the time, just a guest. So let me show you. First thing you need to do, and I want everyone to turn on their guest user on today, right now, and then you can turn it off again. It's very simple to turn on and off, but I want everyone to do this. So everyone, open your system preferences if you haven't yet. By the way, it doesn't matter if this is Catalina or Mojave. Once you go to users and groups down here, it's the same for Mojave and Catalina users. Okay, so is everyone there? Let me see. I'm going to clear everything off.
I don't know how to get to system preferences.
Okay, so to get to system preference, you can either go up to the little Apple icon, and in the Apple icon, the second choice is system preferences.
Okay.
The other way is from the dock if you have it in the dock, but sometimes people don't have it in the dock. But every single person going up to Apple has the system preferences right there, the second choice. Okay, so is everyone up with their system preferences now? By the way, I'm just getting a reminder that might not apply to you in particular, but I want to make sure that everyone who is in my Wednesday class, tomorrow, Wednesday, the photos class, that I will have a power outage all day tomorrow, a forewarned power outage, but I have figured out a way. I'm going to get a computer that I can connect. So I had mentioned that I didn't know how I was going to handle that, but I will be able to be on. So most of you hadn't heard about it. My Wednesday people had heard about it, but since some of you guys go to Wednesday, that I'd let you know already that it's okay. All right, so is everyone up with their system preferences now? Just speak out if you're not. Other than that, I'm assuming you are. So down here, the guest user should be grayed out, except for a few of you who might have already turned it on. It should be grayed out like mine. And if you try to click on it, nothing happens because it's grayed out. And that's because the system preferences won't allow you to change stuff until you click the lock here at the bottom to make changes. I need to put on a little bit of color on my mouse to make it more visible. Here we go. So see down here, click the lock to make changes. Now, there's a reason I'm showing you this, even if you are not the kind of person who receives guests or shares your computer. but I want to make sure that everyone knows their computer administrator passwords. And when you have to click this lock, what happens up is that you get this password request. And what password, people ask, what are we talking about? What's this password? All right, this password is the one that you have to put in when you open and turn on your computer, and you have to just type something in to be allowed in. Now, I do want to get a yes or no. For people who do have to put in a password when they turn on their computer, say yes. People who, no, you never have to put in a password when you turn on your computer, say no. So by me giving you an example of, yeah, well, when you open up your computer, when you turn it on, when you unsleep it, when you wake it up, you need to type in a password. If so, give me a yes. If you never type in a password and you don't know what I'm talking about, say no. And I do want everyone to answer me right now. Okay, so while I'm waiting, what's that?
Deanna, I've lost you. All I have is pictures of people who are in the class on the right-hand side.
You don't see a system preferences being shared with you?
No, I don't see your presentation.
You
But
seem to
I see myself and hit the mute button, but that's all. All I have is, 4 people in the class.
okay, so you have, can you go up to where you see the apple?
Yes.
Does it say Zoom right next to it? Right next to the apple, does it say Zoom?
I don't see.
Okay.
No, not next to there's my Apple, and then it says systems preferences.
Okay, so you need to bring up Zoom again. So go down to your dock and click on the little Zoom icon, because I'm going to show you how to get to see me, but I need to have Zoom be next to your Apple. So,
Okay.
or click on one of the pictures that you say of the people in class, and that should bring up Zoom again next to the Apple.
Well,
click on those.
I clicked on the Zoom thing, and it has your name, user. It has Diana's teaching, and it asks for a password.
Good. So then that's me. That's me showing that's my screen. That's what I'm showing. Okay.
Okay.
That's my screen. All right. It's hard when you're seeing yours and mine and what are we sharing. That's the one. If you see Deanna's teaching password, that's what I'm sharing. So perfect. Okay, good. So I'm waiting for people to answer whether they have to put in a password when they turn on their computer, and the majority of you are saying yes right now. I'm only getting 3 no's, but not everyone has answered. So please answer yes if you have to put in a password when you open up your computer. And if it's a laptop, you basically, when you lift the top, or if you're on a desktop, when you come up to your screen and it's dark and you click on a keyboard or a key or on anything to wake it up, if you have to put in a password at that point, that password that you're putting in, that's your administrator's password. Okay, write that one down as the name, because right here, it's not saying the word administrator's password. It just says password, but many other times when you need to enter it, it says, enter your administrator's password. And that administrator's password is you saying, I am the person who owns and understands how to handle this computer, or whom it belongs to. That's the administrator's password. Okay, now that password that's called the administrator's password, the one that's being asked right now to be filled, is the one that you should not hand out to your guests. Because once you give that password out to your guests, then they can enter your account, right? And the whole point is that if they can enter your account, they can disconnect apps, they can connect other apps, they can get rid of some of your dock icons, they can put some others, they can throw your files away, they can look at your files, they can, your email, basically they're in your computer. And if what you don't want is for that to happen, A, because you know they're going to mess with your stuff because they're too little to know. They could, playing a game, and next thing they know, you've lost half your stuff because they don't know what they're doing, or because they know what they're doing and you'd rather they not get into your stuff. Or, and this is the most important reason for those of you who are sharing your computer with someone in your household, because each one of you wants to have your own account and connected to your phone and connected to your iPads, then you need to know your own administrator's password. Okay, so how I got to this is because I want to turn on the guest user so that I can offer the guest user to people. So you have to click the lock to make changes. So click the lock, and that's how I got here. So if you don't know how to get to this point, you need to click that lock. And what you need to write in here is the administrator's password. Now, for the people who said no, which would be Marie, Viola, Justine, Bill, you who said no, you don't have a password set up on your computer. What are you getting here when you click on guest? You just have it available?
Deanna, this is
Yes.
Bill. I do have administrator's password, but I have the computer set up where I don't need to use it to turn it on.
To turn it on. Okay, but you do have one. So when you
Yes.
try to turn on the guest, you are getting the same request as I am. Okay, how
Yes.
about, perfect. How about Justine? What's happening to you when you try to turn on the
Hi,
guest?
Yeah, same thing. I don't have it set up so that I have to put it into when I first
Okay.
open it up.
But
But,
it
yes, but I have one, and yes,
Great.
I put it in and it works.
Perfect. I needed to know that. If that's 2 of you out of 4, I'm going to assume that's what's happening to everyone else then. I didn't know. I didn't know if it would come into play here. And this is important because you're giving someone else access to your computer. So I'm going to assume, Viola, that you too. Okay, so type in your administrator's password. So,
Deanna,
yes.
this is Cynthia. Sorry, I don't see where to get to this sharing screen from my system preferences.
You're
You're go to
seeing,
family sharing, or that I don't have the same choice that you had at the beginning to get in here.
users and groups. You don't have users and
No.
groups?
Mm-mm. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's everyone. We're not in Apple ID. We're in the general.
My Apple ID is the same password as my administrator's password. Is that a problem?
Only a problem if security wise it's a problem, because then someone who knows one can get into everything. But I always recommend that people who really have a hard time remembering passwords, like you don't have, as soon as you have 2, you forget 1, and it's very typical. You can have, some people have a memory for numbers and letters, others have for art and for whatever, and some people have a really hard time remembering passwords. Then make sure it's a safe one, and then try not to share it with anyone else, and then use one for everything. It's not what's considered safe, no, but if it's the best you can do, that's fine. For a lot of people, putting in a password to open up their computer, I recommend making it a relatively simple one, because you have to type it in a lot when you have it every time your computer turns off. So make it easy to type, versus you don't need to put in your Apple ID a lot. So that can be one of the more complicated ones that are safer, with uppers and lowers cases and, all kinds of exclamation points and numbers and stuff like that. That would be a better Apple ID password, and a simple one for the getting into your computer. That's just a recommendation. All right, so here we're going to do this again. So we're going to type in the password and then say, okay, unlock, or just hit your return key. And now everything goes black here on the left. Okay, now your guest user and everything else is unlocked. Now, if you, for any reason, wanted to change your password, this is where you would do that. That's not my request. If you know your password, don't be changing it. But the point I'm making is that if you want, now you can click on guest user, which used to be off for most people. And now you can say, allow guests to log on to this computer. So that's all it takes. You click this on a little, you click this thing right there. Allow guests to log into this computer. Now, if you read the details, this is important. I'll explain it to you. What you are doing here is you're allowing someone to sign in, use your computer, but just use it as if it was blank, as if it was empty. If they go to the email, there's no emails there. If they open up Word, there's no files that have been created. If they go to Safari, there's no bookmarks, there's no history. It's a blank, flat, there's no history, no way to know what is happening in that computer. It is an empty computer. So they can use it, they can access the internet, they can check their own email and stuff. But most importantly, when a guest logs out, all the information and files that they created, they also get deleted. So nothing stays on your computer. No history of whatever they were doing gets really stayed on there. Now, if you have little kids who are going to be doing this, you would also want to enable the parental controls. If you never have little kids, you can turn it off. The difference would be that if you enable parental controls and your guest wants to go to a questionable website, they can, versus a kid can't, and a couple of other things like that, right? So basically that's up to you whether you turn this one on or not. Now, I would not turn this on. You probably don't have shared folders, but just leave this off. That way they can't access any of your stuff. All right, so now once you've done that, that's all you need to do, and you leave. Now, next time you turn your computer on, and this part I can't demo, but next time you turn your computer on, instead of saying only one sign in, you'll see the bubble, you'll see your name, and you'll see a guest, okay? And to sign in as a guest, you just need to click on a guest, and you'll open up your computer and you'll look at it and you go, oh my God, where's all my stuff gone? And that's the whole point. It will be empty. It'll be completely empty, and people can just do whatever they need to do with your computer. And then once you click on your little bubble with your name and put in your password, you're back to your computer being your own. So what I'm going to do is, for now, let's leave it like this. If you haven't done it with me, please do that. Unlock yourself, turn on your computer. Right now, it should be grayed out, but it should say guest user enabled and managed, okay? Because now you do have the computer turned on for the guest user to use it. So that's what it should say. If it doesn't say that, then click and put in your password, okay? So again, the password, and then you should be able to turn it on if it still says off. And if not, it should say like this, enabled and managed. Now, I want to talk for a second to the 4 people who do not have passwords on their computer for turning it on, just to make sure that it's a conscious choice. If it's a conscious choice, that's fine. You need to know that if you have a desktop, then you're fine. If someone enters your house and wants to steal your information, they'll be able to open it and do it, but you know, it's a desktop. But if you have a laptop that you actually take out of your house and you go to places with it, then I would highly recommend having a password on your computer, because if not, if you forget your computer anywhere, or if it stays unattended anywhere, then people can open up your computer. Change it to be their own. Another, you know, if they steal it, they can easily put another account, change it to be their own, start using your computer, versus if you have a password on it, even if they steal it, they can't use your computer. So, you know, you're at least not giving them the satisfaction of being able to use your computer if you do put in a password. All right. Yes,
I have a
Kim?
quick question. I put in the
Yes.
password and the lock came open, but it still says guest user off.
So you need to click it on, and you need to click on this little allow guests to log into this computer. That's what would enable it. Okay. And I want everyone to do this, because during break, the next time, you know, now leave it there. And then during break, because this is something that you're gonna have to turn your computers off and on for, so the Zoom will disconnect. So during break, right before I give break, I'll say, okay, everyone, now during break, please go and sign out. And I'm gonna show you how to sign out, so that then you'll see how the option for guest is turned on. You will all be disconnected from my Zoom account. You'll see that, you'll test it, you'll come back to your own account, and then after break, you'll sign in again, and you'll tell me your experience. And if you want to keep it on because you say, hey, this will be good for me, you leave it on. And if you don't, all you need to do is come back here and turn this little check mark off, boom, and it goes off. It's a very simple thing to turn on or off. So it's not like you're making something that really is going to, you know, it's not going to be a big deal or a big change, but at least you'll know how to do it. Yes, I know, hold on. Anne is asking something, but Kim was asking something earlier. So Kim?
Hi, I was just wondering if my laptop is connected to my desktop, they're both Apples.
Yeah.
If one person logs into my, if a guest logs into my laptop, does it also log them into my desktop, or are they totally separate?
Well, that depends. When you said they're connected, you mean through the Apple ID or through
Yes.
what other way? Because there are other networking ways to be connected. If it's through the Apple ID, no, like from your computer, when you're on your laptop, do you easily access your files on your desktop?
No, I have to move them over to my laptop.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that's fine. If someone
Okay.
is using your laptop, they won't be able to access anything unless you have moved it. Mhm.
Thanks.
Yes, Anne, you're welcome. Anne?
Yes. The only time I have to enter my administrative password is when I shut my computer, actually shut it off. And I usually don't shut it off. I just, close the lid.
Okay, so then,
Is it
okay, good
okay
point.
to be doing
Well,
that?
it depends. I'm going to go ahead and show you right here in this password. If I go to an account that's on, well, where's someone's barking? If someone's dog is barking, please turn your sound off. So yeah, when you have set it up for so let me go over here to change password. No, that's not where it is. I'm wondering where you change that setting. Because the ideal is that every time you pull, when you close down the top, that's putting it to sleep. When you open it up, it should be asking you for your password. Trying to see where that setting would, It's not under login items either. This is I don't know right now. I'm having a blank as to where you would put that. Does anyone here have a?
Yeah, I think it's probably under security on your security and privacy.
Yeah.
Top line.
Let me click on security and privacy.
Remove-
Yeah,
on our
yeah, there it
computer,
is. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Thank you, Bill. Under security and privacy, so up here on the top row, security and privacy, then if you say require password and it tells you however how much. So I have it set up that it always asks me for the password after 5 minutes of not being used. You could have it that you ask it very quickly, only after it's been off for an hour or something like that. Or you could turn this off and then it will not ask you after sleeping or screensaver. Okay. So if it's off, then that means, like Anne, that it wouldn't ask you ever for a password. Or if this is a computer technically is usually at an office and you want to basically stand up and go to get a coffee and come back, and you would probably want it to turn off if you're not around. So then 5 minutes or 1 minute is fine, but at home maybe you can make it more than that, many minutes before it goes to sleep. Okay. So that's for you to make those choices. Now I recommend that it be on, but if you're at home, maybe you can have it on for something longer so you don't have to constantly be typing in your password. Because I mean, unless you're in a situation where you have roommates and stuff, then anyone can pick up and use your computer, going in and grabbing their own account. Then you might want to have this off, because it's this moment when it goes to sleep when it'll give you the choice for my account, your account, or guest user, right? So if you feel like you're in a situation where you would rather not have people coming up upon your open screen, then you give it a short time. If you're at home and you're just trying to protect from the possible, loss of your computer, maybe 15 minutes is more appropriate. And this would mean 15 minutes of not using your computer, but it's been left open. At that point, it'll turn itself off. Not off, it'll put itself asleep. Okay. So if you know that you go to, other people's homes, or if you go to the library, if you go to Starbucks and you know that you sign into their laptops and do work, then if you say 15 minutes, then if you get up to get another coffee, your computer is on for 15 minutes. Anyone can take it and sign in their own account and basically steal your laptop and use it. But if it's been off, then they can't.
So it depends on your life and what you do with your computer and how much you use it. Someone who goes to school every day and takes their computer with them, yeah, definitely have a short password time on it. So anyway, yes.
Can I ask a question? It's Justine.
Yes.
So
hi,
I was
Justine.
one of those few people who doesn't have it set to
Yeah.
require a password. But so I'm to that place. I see where you can check it or uncheck it. So that password, though, if I check it and it requires that, it is the same administrative password?
Yes,
Okay,
it is
just
the
wanna
same
check that.
administrator's password. So I recommend it being a simple one to type in because, especially if you have it set up for 5 minutes, basically every time I turn around to do something, when I come back, my laptop is off. So have it be something you can type in, not like a really complicated one that you would hate or a really long one, unless you're good at typing. I just type mine in really quickly now. But easy or not, unless you give it away, right? Then no one would know how to do. Now, don't do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I mean, every single person in the world knows those. Try to put something with a little bit more thought. And I always say that a good password would be something that only you would know, like the name of your favorite pet that passed away. Like nothing that's something you can look up, birthdays and your kid's name, those kind of things is so easy to look up. So if you want a password that works, have it be something like the street you lived on when you were 10. Something that you do know, but is not on records anywhere, but that you would never forget, right? Something that there's no way you would ever forget, but that isn't a statistic that's easy to look up, all right? I don't know, what color was your first car? Something, I don't know if you would even remember that for some people, but for, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Why can't I enter my password? It won't.
What setting are you in the guest settings?
Yes, system preferences, enter your password to allow this.
Yeah, so that's your username. That's the same password you would use if you try to turn on your computer. So it should allow you to type it in. That password that it's asking you to allow, it's your system preferences. It's your administrator password. And at some other point, when you try to install a program, if you're trying to make changes that are important, like installing a program or uninstalling a program, it'll say, well, to let you do this, you need to enter your administrator's password. That's when the word administrator's passwords get used, and it really throws people off because they go, wait, what's my administrator's password? It's this one. It's the one that now is just called password. Okay, it's the one that you use when you open it. It's the only password you'll ever be asked for when you need to do things to your computer, as opposed to the Apple ID. The Apple ID allows you to do things to your computer and more. It allows you to do the password. It's the password that connects you to your cloud and to your other devices and to all of this other system. So they usually have different passwords, but they don't. Many people have the same password, and that's fine as long as you don't hand it out to people. Okay, so I'm kind of done with showing you this. Now you've set this guest user up. Remind me, please, in case I forget, because we were going to be on a different subject, but when it's time to do break, I need people to, at that point, sign out, like log off. And to do that, now I'm going to shade my share. We're not going to sign out right now. But in order to sign out, how you're going to do it is by, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go up to the Apple, look at what I'm showing you, and don't now, but you're going to log out. You're not going to shut down or anything. I mean, you can, but there's no point. It's just logging out. And when you log out, if I try to log out right now, it's going to stop my Zoom. So I can't show you this. But what's going to happen is that you're going to log out. When you try to log in again, what the screen you'll see is two little bubbles, one that has your name for you to get in and one that has a guest. And the guest, try it out, and you'll see that when you click on guest, it just lets you into a computer that seems brain dead. It's blank. It has everything you have, but when you open Mail or Safari, it basically has none of your information. Your contacts, calendar, like it's all just a virgin computer. And then to get out of there, you go up to the Apple, you log out of the guest, and then you log into your own again. And after that, you'll log in back to our class after break time is over, okay? And then you can choose to keep that guest on or off. It's very simple as I showed you. So that'll be what we're gonna do at break. Okay. So now I'm going back to the system preferences. Let me share system preferences again with you guys. Before I continue, any questions about this that I just said? I'll tell you again how to do this during break, but any other questions? Okay, so I have one thing that I'd like to do, which is remind Cynthia how to change your name. I've been changing it for you, but I need you to change your name on your Zoom. So Cynthia, can you go to your little video of yourself, which is now no video, but it has your name, and hover over it. And when you hover over it, you'll see that there's 3 little dots on the far right of it. Cynthia, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so go to those 3 little dots that appear when you hover over your video. Click on that, and then look for the word rename, and put your name into that.
Will I have to do this every time?
If you do it, and I've been doing it for you, that's why you have to do it every time. But you do it for yourself, and you should be fine.
Why is it wrong?
Because you sign in, you can change that in the settings. It'll ask you, when you sign in, it'll say, do you want this to be the name for which you sign in? And you have to say yes, or no. And you seem to have it on no. So that's when you sign in to Zoom that it asks you. And then that name, just, do you want this to be the same name you use every time? You go, yes. And it's one time that they ask you when you sign in. And then whatever name you change to will stay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay.
Diana?
Yes.
Sorry, can I ask a follow-up question to that?
Of course, of course.
I've been changing my name every time too, because the first time I used Zoom, for whatever reason, it just entered my first name all in lowercase. And so I've been changing it each time. But I never seem to see, like, when I...
Yeah, so if you already said okay, yeah, then it probably doesn't ask you anymore. So you need to go to...
I don't remember saying okay. It's just, that's how it just has been.
Yeah,
I can't find a way to go in and change it permanently, but is it because
you have to
I
go
don't
into
have a
this
Zoom account? Like I'm just participating in other people's Zoom things?
No, because you do have a Zoom account, so to say, by even being able to, so you go to the settings. So let me see, let me see, because I can't show you right now. I'm right now being the person who handles it. So I can't.
Yeah, so I'm just saying in the Zoom at the top, I have meeting, view, edit, window, and help.
So
settings.
None of those, let me see. None of those are it. You need to go to.
Oh, preferences.
Okay. Well.
So,
I don't even think it's in preferences. Let me see, general, accessibility, profile. There you go. So go to preferences. So go to Zoom.
Yeah, I was in preferences, but then I just left.
Okay, and go to profile. You know what? Let me see if I can share that.
I don't have profile as an option.
Okay, hold on.
I go into that.
Let me see even this one. 1 second. I stopped my sharing. So when you go into that, you see general, video, audio, all of that. You don't see profile at all?
In system preference, I'm sorry, I just went into my
settings. Yeah.
In Zoom and preferences, I have.
Read them down. General,
video, audio, share screen, background and filters, recording, statistics, keyboard shortcuts, accessibility.
Okay, so you skip profile. Between recording and statistics, I have profile. You don't have that. Okay, then.
I think it's, yeah, like I said, I just always figured it's because I'm not, actively hosting. Like I'm just attending.
Yeah,
Zoom
no,
things.
does anyone else see the profile or not? No?
No.
So then I don't know the quick answer for that.
Yeah,
it
that's fine.
has, so you know who would know that answer? And if someone wants to check the rest of us, if someone goes to the Santa Barbara City College student tech support, that I always give you that option. If someone is able to go in and ask them how to change their name, then report back and tell the whole class how to do it because I don't know. My accounts always have profile because I'm
Yeah.
always using official accounts.
Right.
So I don't
right.
I don't see the settings the way you do. So there's things that I can't find out just because I have a different option. It would have to be someone who uses it only as a student and who's never, you know, set up their own
Right.
account who would have to
Yeah.
ask that.
All right. No, that's fine. Thank you.
That's all I can think of. Thanks for checking in with that. But anyway, other than that, it should, there we go. Now, Cynthia, other than that, you can just type it in every time like you do or like Cynthia just did. Okay. So now, moving on, here we go. You guys have, okay, I'm sharing again my system preferences because I want to show you something else. So today we're going to have to be finding out some stuff from our computers. I'm going to start us using files, creating files, folders, and putting them in places. But before I do that, we need to understand more about where our accounts are set up, how our accounts are set up. So heading down to system preferences again. Here we go. You need to click on iCloud if you are on Mojave, right there, like me, or if you are in Catalina, then up here you'll see Apple ID. Okay, so I'm not going to share from Catalina right now. Just choose either here for iCloud or up here the word Apple ID, and it'll take us all to. Now I'm going to click to a place like this. It looks very similar in Catalina. It has more information down here. Okay. But other than that, this top part, which is what I want, is exactly the same for everyone. All right. So everyone needs to be there. This is every single person. This is, we're going to begin to discover where do our files reside. Do they live in my computer or do they live on the cloud? And most of you guys are going to go, well, duh, they're on my computer. I see them on my computer. And my answer is going to go, well, unfortunately, it's not so well, duh, because even if you see them on your computer, they could be, and for many of you, they are actually on the cloud, and you just see them on your computer, which is a whole different situation. And this is the place where we're going to get that answer. So now, is everyone here? Give me your system preferences. And what I need you to do is to go to the iCloud account on the bottom if you're in Mojave, or to the Apple ID if you're in Catalina. So that's where we are. That's where we get to this window. Okay. Now, at the very, very top, the top choice says iCloud Drive. You see that? The iCloud Drive probably is turned on for everyone. If somebody does not have the iCloud Drive turned on, like if there's no check mark under iCloud Drive, please tell me a no. Okay, so Kim doesn't have that turned on. Anyone else? Yeah, okay, so that one probably should be turned on. Okay, a couple of other people saying no, so that one is probably okay to have it be turned on for everyone. I'll tell you later what that is, but if it's not, then it's not. That's fine. At least now you know that that's a no. So Jeannie and Cynthia and Kim have it as no. All right. Now, if it's off, don't turn it on yet. I'm right now, please, first I show people the options, and then it's up to you to choose whether you turn it on or off, and I'll explain why yes, why not to have it turned on. But for now you're learning. For most of you, it's yes, it's turned on, and for 3 of you guys, it's not. Don't make any changes. Those of you who is off, don't turn it on, but keep seeing what's happening. Now, for those of you who have it turned on, over on the right side, do you see the little options choice? Click on options. All right. So, by the way, all of this is a one-time thing. You don't need to be going into these things a lot. So now doing this with me, you'll learn and understand about your computer, but it's not like you need to remember how to go in and out of these things, because once you set them up, they're set up. Okay, now at the top, there's something that could be on or off, which is desktop and document folders. I'm going to assume that, of course, the 3 people who already said no, that's off, because otherwise it would have to be turned on. But for everyone else who's here right now, if your box is off like mine, give me a no. If it's on with a check mark, give me a yes. So green yes if you see a check mark, red no if it's like mine, red no if it's empty, check. Do not check it, do not change it, just observe and answer. So yes if you have a check mark on here, no if you do not have a check mark on here. Okay, so mine is a no.
Mine is a no.
Okay, so go in and answer no, please, on the participants button. And so make sure that you can see your participants button, and at the bottom of the participants button, you see a row of yeses or nos. This one I really do want to see clearly. So Grace, do you know where to go find these things? Okay, I don't hear you, Grace, but I have a feeling that you're saying that you don't know.
I lost everything. I have 4 connections, so I'm lost.
Okay, so go into your system preferences. Open
No,
up your,
I don't even have the screen.
what's that?
I don't have the screen.
Like you're not seeing me?
Yes.
You don't have, okay, you don't have to be seeing me really much for this one. You just need to open your own system preferences. So
No,
go up.
I just seem to have lost
Wi-Fi.
the control on my computer. So just go on. Don't pay any attention.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand if it's Zoom that's gone. Wi-Fi you have, or you wouldn't be online. Zoom you have open, or you wouldn't be in this little picture. So,
But I don't have my own.
okay, so am I filling your screen? Is my Dune with, is my big system preferences filling your entire screen right now?
No,
If
I can
no.
make it. I can move it.
Okay.
But
All
I
right.
can't. I don't have mine.
Okay, so move mine to the side and then go up to your own little Apple icon on the very top of your left of your screen and
Yeah.
click on that and say system preferences. And that will be your own now.
But you see, it goes over your.
It's okay.
Okay.
The important thing is to know how to use yours. If mine goes over yours, if yours goes over mine, so to say. And now in your own, go down. No, you're in Catalina, right?
Yes.
Okay, so go up at the very top and click on Apple ID. Apple ID.
No, I'm going to have to go with the help afterwards.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so let me see your answers. Grace will answer later. Viola, yeah?
My screen is frozen and I can't. Never mind, pass me up.
Okay, I'll pass you up for now. Maybe during a little bit before break, I can help Grace and Viola. Justine, do you know if for you it's a yes or a no? Do you have the iCloud option turned on or not?
My iCloud is, my desktop is off.
Okay, good. So then say no. Give me a little no. Or
I can't
you don't-
access that. That's
if
why.
you can't, okay, that's fine. I get that. If you can't access, at least I know it's a no. All right. How about you, Justine? I haven't heard an answer from you. Owen, Becky says no. Owen says yes. Bill, up there.
I'm still on El Capitan, so I don't have that desktop.
You don't have the choice.
folders.
Okay, great. So you don't have that choice. Perfect. Okay, So good. Now I have answers from everyone, or from everyone who can't give an answer. And there's a couple of people that'll help you later. So this is very important. So pay attention. Those of you who answered yes, if you answered me yes with a green yes, meaning you do have a check mark right here, your documents, any file that your computer owns that you created that should be in desktop and documents, really look like they're there. Even if you see the icons on your desktop and you're seeing right there and you're seeing your files, they truly are living in the cloud. They are in the cloud. And I'll explain what that means, but write this down. If you said yes, if this is check marked, so later in the future, I'm gonna see when we start moving files around, I'm gonna say, are your files in the cloud or are you on your computer? You who have said yes have to say mine are in the cloud, even if you see them in your computer, okay? It's not a visual thing. It's an understanding of where they actually reside. So those of you who got a yes, a check mark here under desktop and documents, your files are in the cloud. There's benefits, there's pros and cons, of course. As always, there's pros and cons. The pros would be that this means that if your computer dies, you don't lose anything because all your stuff is still on the cloud. It means that if you buy another computer, if you have two computers, you know how Kim asked, well, my desktop and my laptop? Well, if all her stuff were in the cloud, then she would be able to use the same files from either one. It doesn't matter because they're all in the cloud anyway. So basically, any one of her computers would have access to the exact same files all the time. If you say yes and they're in the cloud, then you can be on someone else's computer, another side of the world, and need to access your files. And you say, excuse me, can I use your computer for a minute? You can go to the internet and access your files because they're on the cloud. So those are all the pros. The cons would be that if you have a ton of files, then you get to the time and place where you're just going to start having to pay more to have space in the cloud. So you get for free 5 gigabytes of space. And if you need more, you have to pay 99 cents a month to get 50 gigabytes of space. So 99 cents a month is $12 a year-ish to get space for your files to be in the cloud. If you have even more files than that, like if for any reason you have really big files, and it would take quite a while for people to have more than 50 gigabytes of just files, then you have to pay $2.99 a month, which is about $3 a month to get 200 gigabytes of space. Okay, so that's the negative. Now, I am not mentioning photographs or videos because by the same token, for those of you who are in my photos class, you have a different place where you would have to check where your photos and videos would be on, and then you would need more to pay more for that. But this is only files, desktop and document folders where it is not the stuff that's in your Photos app, okay? All right, now for all of you who said no, who do not have this checked like I don't, then your computer files are truly in your computer. That's the only place they're in. If you sign up from a different computer and you need access to your files, you can't because they're in your computer. If you go somewhere else and like I will go visit my mom in Argentina and I need to access my files, I can't. My files are in my computer in the States. My mom, I can't access them. Versus if they're in the cloud, I could access them from Argentina, right? So that's the pros and the cons. The other pro would be that maybe I'm not paying an extra $1 a year to have my stuff, $1 a month, $12 a year to have them on the cloud. What's the huge con of this system is that if your computer dies, you lose everything. You lose absolutely everything because they are nowhere else but in your computer. If your computer gets stolen, you lose everything. Let me say that the only way not to lose everything is to have a backup system. So if something is backing up your computer, then you don't lose everything. And at the end of, in class macOS level 2, I'll teach you how to back up your computer. So it's okay to not have this on only if you're also backing up your computer to a different system. It could be to something online. It could be to a time machine. I'm not going to explain those systems right now, but the word backing up, meaning that if your computer dies, your stuff is safely somewhere else at the same time. Then it's okay to have this off. All right, so now I've just explained what the options are. Beyond that, those of you who have a yes, okay, if you have a yes over here, then at the bottom, you see something like optimize max storage, and this might look a little bit different for Catalina users. What this means that is anything that's on the cloud will be the full size thing. And what's in your computer will only be, if you're running out of space in your computer, then your computer will have, it'll optimize your Mac storage so that you don't run out of space, and it'll keep storing stuff in the cloud instead of on your Mac so that you don't run out of space on your Mac. But you would have to have that turned on for that to work. Okay, so now go ahead and say done. All right, so now we don't really know yet the true import of this to your files. All you know, you clearly know you're either, your stuff is in the cloud or not. And hopefully you wrote it down, because I'll be asking you every time we meet. I'll say, now we're going to be working with our files, and do you remember where are your files? And you have to go, oh, mine are in the cloud, or oh, mine are in my computer. Okay, with all of its pros and cons, the only person who should shift, if in the midst of all these deliberations you decide, oh, I would rather my stuff be in the cloud, it's as easy as clicking this on. But it is not easy to say, oh, I don't want my stuff in the cloud, and to click it off. Please don't do that. Because if you do that, all your stuff will remain perversely only in the cloud, and nothing will be in your computer if you turn it off. So then you'll have to copy stuff and bring it down. It's doable. I have a whole handout for people who want to do it, but you need to be aware that's not something that you would easily just turn off. Yes, you can turn it on and your stuff immediately goes into the cloud, and it stays in both. You see them at your computer. So yes, you can turn it on if all these things I've said or later convince you want them on, but do not turn them off, or your whole computer will look like it's empty. Your stuff will be gone because it will reside only in the cloud, at which point you need to recopy stuff back onto your computer. So it's harder. It's possible, but it's harder. Okay, so Kath, what's your question?
There's
Yeah.
some documents that I wish weren't in the cloud. Can I take a single document out?
No. No, not really. You can in a different way. You can put it in you can put some things that you don't want in the cloud by not having them in either the desktop nor the documents folder, which would mean you'd have to put them in like the pictures folder, somewhere where they really wouldn't belong, but that at least is not a folder that's being copied on. So there is a way to do that. All of the files, and let me explain more about file management and you'll understand a bit more, but all of the files that we have in our computer tend to be either in the desktop or in the documents. The other place they can live is in the downloads. We're going to talk about that, or in the pictures folder. So those would be two folders that don't get copied onto the cloud. So if you want to leave them in the downloads always, so you'd have to take them out of these two places for them not to be in the cloud. So when I go, I'm going to go now into explaining much more. We're going to go into actually handling our files now. And at this point, when you begin to get more of an understanding of that, you'll discover what's a good place for you not to have them in the cloud. Now, that's the explanation of how. My next question would be, why would you care about that? Because the cloud isn't a public place. The cloud is as safe as your Apple ID is. Meaning, if you don't give anyone your Apple ID, the stuff in the cloud, no one can access. Okay, so it isn't any more or any less accessible. In a way it is, because if your computers are only in your own computer, you'd have to have someone break into your house to access your computer if you never move it out. But other than that, could someone hack into Apple? And if they hack into Apple, would they go and find your files and your account to try to get in? Well, I would say if you are, you know, Meghan Markle or something like that, yeah, you probably should be very, very worried. But if you're just a regular Joe, the fact that someone will try to get into your files, personally would have to be a personal targeted reason, right? So that's just it now versus giving someone else your Apple ID and they go up and get your files from the cloud. Yeah, so change the password on your Apple ID and then there you go. Now they're safe again. So I just wanted to throw this out because as soon as people find out their stuff is in the cloud, there starts to be this concern. Well, how safe are they? Well, they're as safe as whoever has your Apple ID has access to them. But if they don't have your Apple ID, there's no access. And so hackers, yeah, hackers can get into your computer as well. If you're a person of import, they can get into your computer as easily as they can get into your cloud, just because you're connected to the internet. So through the cable, they'll get into your computer. Like, hackers can do anything. So if you're a person who really, because of your personal who you are, if you're famous, if you're someone who has a specific, you know, that you've got a stalker, things like that, you need to be careful even on the stuff on your computer. But if you're a regular Joe, it makes no difference if they're in one or the other. Just don't give your ID, Apple ID away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. I have one other question. On the maximizing Mac storage, I'm one of those people that's got my computer too full and I'm getting the spinning ball too much. Will this help me if I press that little if I check that button?
Yes, it will.
Okay, thank you.
At that point, there still will be the place where you still need to keep making the effort, like we started last week, of emptying out of the stuff that you don't want. And we're going to keep doing that. But yes, clicking on maximize max storage, what's going to happen is you're going to get all the full size of your documents will stay in the cloud. And when you see them in your computer and you open them up, it'll just be like a preview of them, and they won't occupy that much in your computer. So it'd be good to know, actually, Kath, it would be good to know in your case, when you do click on that, after everything has had a time to transfer, to look at that space and see what has changed and let me know proportionally. If you take a screenshot before and after, that would be good to know what happened, because when people ask me this, in theory, I'll say yes, but I don't know in practicality how much that shifts. And if you are aware that you're about to do that, that would be a good, be great to do a screenshot before and after and then share that with me and I can share it with the class. And then in the future, I'll know that.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so Reagan, you just joined us, and so I'm just going to go really quickly over what it is that I just did so everyone's pretty clear, because this is important for you to know. I need to know if your files are, you need to know, but for class, I need to know as well, if your files and everything you see on your computer, whether it really is on your computer or if it's on the cloud. So what we need to do is go to your system preferences and click on either iCloud if you're on an old system or an Apple ID if you're in a new system. I'm going to click on this one here. And when you get over here to iCloud Drive, you need to click on Options. And the answer that I'm looking for is, once you click on Options for iCloud Drive, you will have a choice, and it's taking a while in mine, to see whether this is turned on or not. If it's turned on, your desktop, all your files are up in the cloud. If it's turned off, then they are in your computer. So go ahead and go give me a yes if they're on the cloud. That would be a green check mark, and a no if they are not on the cloud. Okay, so Reagan, have you been able to follow me? I did it really quickly.
Yeah, mine looks just like yours with the desktop and
So,
documents
okay.
is deselected.
It's deselected. Okay, so then your stuff is on your computer. All right. Now, as I did a lot of conversation about the good, I'm going to, as we keep going, you'll hear all the goods and the bads about that.
Deanna?
For now, I want to make sure everyone is clear on that. Yes, Marie?
I do not have the optimized max storage option at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, you probably have it. You're on a Catalina. So when you click on the Apple ID choice, and I don't have my Catalina, I'm not sharing from my Catalina right now. I'll share after break. When you just go to the to this basic setup, that right now down here you have the choices for maximizing storage or not in Catalina. You don't have, not in the options, but down here.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
All right. next share that I'll do of my preference will be for my Catalina settings, so the Catalina people can see that, but that's all. All right, and then the other only thing we did is the guest. So now, I know it's time for us to, it could be, we could go on a little bit longer, or we could take an opportunity to take a break right now, because I want you guys to check the guest account. Okay, so Reagan, another thing we did is we turned on, I'm sorry, the guest account, the guest user. So everyone should have turned it on. Even if you don't want it, you can turn it off later. But the choice was that guest user has been turned on. So now is when I want you guys to really pay attention. I shouldn't have stopped my share. Hold on, I will share again. So here's what we're gonna do. First of all, be aware that when it's time to share, when it's time to come, that when you do this, you will be disconnected from Zoom, okay? So after break, you have to connect back into Zoom, and I have to admit you in again, okay? So that's what I wanna make sure everyone is aware of, how to connect back to class. Right now, we're gonna disconnect to do this exercise. So in a minute or so, when I say, okay, it's time to go on break, I need everyone to go to the Apple ID and log out of your name. Now, if you don't see log out, it's because you didn't create another account. Like when you did not have another account, the log out doesn't exist. You only have the options to sleep, restart, or shut down. The only reason you have a log out now is because now you have a choice when you turn on whether to log in as you or to log in as guest. Does that make sense? So those of you who decided, nah, I'm not going to do this part, you do not see log out. But for everyone else who did decide to do this as I requested, and it's fine if you didn't, but hey, it's a learning opportunity, then you should see log out. When you click log out, it'll say, okay, signing out in 90 minutes. Just that's it. Say log out and walk away. But I want you guys to wait until you see the two bubbles. And when I talk about two bubbles, two circles, it'll show one circle with your name and one circle with guest. I want you to click into guest, go into guest, and try to find your files. Try to, open mail. See if you see it. You'll see that you are not you. It is empty. It is completely, none of your stuff is accessible. Once you're convinced that that's true, go back up to Apple and say log out guest, because then you will be in guest, and then log back into your own computer, your name, put in your password, open up Zoom, and click into the class again, and that'll be ready for, and then go take your break. And then when it's time for the break to be over, I'll admit everyone in again. Does that make sense? Everyone clear on those instructions? Now, please ask me if that wasn't clear. I can repeat those instructions again.
Diana?
Yes,
Hi, it's Justine. Yes, I am, and I'm back now, and I heard all that, but I apologize. I did not quite understand.
Okay, so for everyone who turned on their guest account, which hopefully you all did it, you will go to the Apple icon. I'm sorry, I'm on the other computer. This is the one I'm in. Could do the Apple ID and log out. But I'm saying that you won't see that if you didn't turn it on, because some people immediately go, I don't see that. Well, it's because if you don't have two accounts, which you would now, you have yours plus the guest, then you won't see that. But if you see that there, it's because you did enable your guest account. All right, so log out, open in, hold on. I'm finishing the instructions, and so log out, log into guest, which will be one of the two options on your screen, check out guest, log out of guest, and come back in. And then you'll have to connect to Zoom again, is the point I'm trying to tell everyone. Don't assume you're connected anymore, because this whole process of logging out will disconnect you from Zoom. Okay, so Anne, yes?
Should we leave meeting, or doesn't that matter?
Doesn't matter. You will be asked probably, oh, well, I can't log you out because you are connected in Zoom, and you can say it's okay, disconnect or something like that. It'll probably, I don't know until I do it, it'll probably tell you, hey, you can't do this because you're connected. Oh, one more thing that'll happen. When you try to log out, okay, when you try to log out, If you have any open files, so say that you're working on Word on a file that you're writing, it'll say, do you want to save? And you'll have to say yes. Like if you have things open, you'll have to save out. If what you have open is you're looking at your emails or you're checking the internet, that's fine. That'll just log out. When you log in again, it'll all be in the same place. But if you have any files that are in your midst of working on, you'll have to save it before it allows you to log out. So I'm glad you asked that. So Zoom, it'll disconnect you. You'll probably say you're in a class, you need to disconnect. And if it doesn't, then leave and then disconnect. It might say you need to leave before you can, in which case leave, and then it'll disconnect you. So it'll prompt you what is open, what to do before it actually shuts down. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Kim? Kim?
I have another issue. I sent you an email before class explaining that I can't restart.
Yeah, you did send me that email, and I did not know what that had to do with it. I don't know. Anyway, she has an issue with her phone not letting her disconnect, shut down, or restart. And I do not have an iPhone X. I do not know what that connection can be. What I recommend, not just for this exercise, but just to clean it up, turn your phone off, like power it down completely.
I restarted it.
And then see if you restart and if see that same thing sets itself up.
Well, I restarted the iPhone once.
No, but it's not about restarting the iPhone. Power your phone down, turn it off completely so that you don't restart it. You totally power it down, leave it off, then disconnect from your computer, connect again to your computer. Don't leave your phone off through this whole thing. Okay. So turn your computer off completely. Not your computer, sorry, your phone off. Right?
It's off.
It's off. It's off. Do not turn it on again until the very end of this process. Not off, yeah, like off, powered off, right? Perfect. Put it down. Now, when you try to log off, if it still stops you, then it isn't about your connection with your phone. It's something on your computer that is looking for your phone. So I'm just trying to test it. If you still can't do that, when you come back up, we'll try. But it might, now that your phone is off, because if you're still connected to any program, it doesn't let you power down. So if you have an Excel file open that you're working on, you'll have to save it before you can disconnect. Same thing in her case. It says that there's something connected to her phone that won't let her disconnect. So hopefully if the phone is off, it'll let her. If it doesn't, then that's a different answer. You'll let me know when we come back, and I'll tell you what plan B might be. But first, try that out. Kim, yes? Kim?
So when I went to users and groups, I checked on, click the lock to make changes, put in my password, unlock, put guest user, both checks are checked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I close system preferences, and then I go to my Apple icon, and you're not there. It's Deanna's class is not there. What am I doing wrong?
Deanna's class should not be there. You mean on your Apple? You should only see you. I'm not.
Log out, Kim. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you should. I would not. I'm just one little file open in Zoom as far as the computer is concerned. So when you try to log out, it wouldn't have anything to do with me. It would only be Deanna's teaching is the name of my account. Yours probably says Kim or something like that.
Yes, I understand.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
yeah, I don't come into the picture. I'm just, as far as I'm concerned, meaning Zoom is just one open file that's all. And it'll just either log you out automatically or it'll ask you to log out. I don't know. You'll tell me when we're done which one it asks you to do. And then we'll test it out. So I'll give us a full 15 minutes. I feel like I should give you 20 to give you 5 minutes to do this, but I think let's just go with 15 because really it doesn't take too long to log out, open up guest, see, oh yeah, there's nothing there, log out again, log in, and then take your by then it'll be a 13-minute break or something like that. Okay. But if you need to stay away a little bit longer because you need more than that, then that's fine. I'll be checking in with people's experiences when we start again with the whole guest thing. Okay, so it's 10:25. How about we be back in 15 minutes, which would be at 10:40. So at 10:40, we'll start again. Now you have work to do during the break. You need to go and disconnect or log out, okay? Do all that first. And then when you're ready to come in, know that you will have to connect to our Zoom account again. All right, see you guys at 10:40.
How do I log out? You know what? I can't remember my number, so how do I get?
Deanna, my computer just says Zoom interrupted logout.
Okay.
Continue, quit Zoom.
Quit Zoom then. You're gonna have to quit Zoom. Okay.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm letting everyone back in. So people are, whoa. So glad that it wasn't, I feel, my coffee just fell over. Fortunately, it was in a non-spill container. But okay, so people are coming back in. I just let everyone back in. How did that go? How did the process go?
That Deanna, that's really cool. My guest was always enabled. Whenever I, shut down my computer, it always had my name and guest. I never knew what that was. So
Now you know.
oh, now.
So cool. Oh, barking dog. Someone please turn your sound off. Oh, that was you. Okay, great. No, my dog too is becoming accustomed to the fact. But at first, when I started teaching, I'd be like, hello, hello. And it would start barking as if I'm getting people walking. And now it figured out that no one's coming in when I say hello. All right. So, well, that's good to know that you discovered the use of your guest account. And how about anyone else? Did you get to check in your guest account and see how it kind of goes blank? Did everyone do that? Any feedback? Any questions?
Question, I'm Viola.
Yes.
My guest account, I guess, is not enabled because it wouldn't accept my password.
Oh, well, your guest account shouldn't have a password unless you said, yes, set it up with a password.
I
Your
never
guest
set it
account.
up with a password, so, and
Did
I
you-
never used my guest account.
Okay. Did you, let me let more people in. Did you disconnect and try to get into your guest account? Or did you not?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay. Did you log out of your account and try to
logged
get
out.
in?
I logged out of my account and I
Mhm.
got the two bubbles.
Yeah.
And I pressed the guest
Yes.
account and it asked for a password.
Okay.
And so I put in my password and
It
it
didn't
said,
work.
if you forgot your password, change it.
Okay, good. So it's possible that you created this guest account at some other point and you would have maybe put a password on it. If so, the guest can't change it because if not, it wouldn't be very safe. But you as an administrator now that you're back in your own you can go in and see you probably have a password set up on it that's not your regular password. And you need to either turn it off so that the guest has no password, or you need to write down so you know what the guest password is. There is no real need for a password for a guest to have a password because the whole idea is for someone who will just log in and log out without it. So now when we go back in, let's go check and see. Yours probably says password, so you can just turn it off. Your guest, okay? Turn the password off on your guest. So if you have a chance to share your screen, if you want to share your screen with me, then I can see that. Or if you want, do you want to
No.
share?
No.
Well, did someone else find, I know Viola, last time it was a bit hard to share. Did anyone else find that their guest had been set up with a password that they did not know how to get in? Or that they knew the password, but that had been set up with a password? Because if any of you had a guest with a password, I can have you guys see how to change that option. No? Let me see if I can show it to you otherwise. If you go to guest, I am signed in as teaching, and as teaching, I didn't give myself permission to change. Only my main account can change passwords, so I can't show that to you in the computer that I'm teaching from. But if you go back into your guest user, you should see a choice there that says, okay, so I'm going back. Let me share my screen again. I'm sharing my screen again. And if you go back into your guest user, you need to unlock, you should have something here that says something about a password. If you have it on. Viola, okay, so for anyone who's signing in right now, Viola tried to do this, and when she signed into guest, when she tried to sign into the guest, she was asked for a password. Now, I didn't tell you guys to set a password for guest, but she might have had one on before. She's been in my classes before, and maybe she set it up before. And there's no need for a guest to have a password. So if you have it with a password, you can just turn it off. But if you don't have, and I'm looking, let me look in my other computer where I probably do have a password, but I'm not sharing that screen with you for now, but let me see in this one, if my guest, no, it's off as well. So I can't, if you can't share your screen with me, I can't show you, but if you go into your own guest user, it would say something about a password, and you can just click on that to change the password. Only in the guest user, guys, don't be changing your computer's password, just your guest user. If you have a choice to have a password, it would say password, change password, in which case you can turn that on and just disconnect that, completely disconnect the choice for password for the guest. Okay, were you able to see that at all, Viola?
I'll try to do that later.
Okay, so you just want to make sure you don't have a password for that. So the only way to do that is by turning it off in the guest user, which most of you don't have it on, so it's not an issue. But if she has it on, then you would see the choice here to turn it off or to change it. Just like I see in this one that I can change password, because I do have a password in this one. If you do have a password in guest, you would see the choice to change it, right? And so you could also change it or not even have it by turning it off. But I can't demo that because I don't have a password on mine, so the choice is not there. How did it go? Got a little bit of feedback, but a lot of people connected to class while people were talking. So does anyone else want to tell me a little bit about the guest? Did it work? Did it not work? What did you find out? Yes, Kim? Kim?
I chatted with you, but the question is, so I went to guest user, and on my guest user screen, it says backups. So evidently my backup drive is there because I'm not backing up on the cloud. I'm backing up on my backup device. So on my guest user screen on my desktop, the only thing that's there is backup. So when I go to log out guest user, it says, if you log out, your files will be deleted. That's not going to delete my backup drive, is it?
No, but I'm also surprised why you see your backup there. Is it, you mean, maybe because it's plugged in?
It's always plugged in, yeah. So no matter who is using my computer, would they always see a backup drive on their
except for they shouldn't be able to open it because it's not their
Well, let me try to open it.
Yeah, but you're not on guest right now, so how can you try that? Or are you doing it?
I am on guest. I'm on my guest screen
on another computer, because the Zoom one is okay. On another computer, you're on your guest screen. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that on my other computer too, because that is actually an interesting answer, and I don't know. So I'm going to test that.
Yeah, I can get into my backup drive. I see all my files on my backups.
So that's interesting.
But if I log out guest user, it's not going to delete those files, right?
No. It would only delete any files that the guest has used on the computer,
Yes.
not those.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that it's not that your plugged in drives aren't protected from someone going into them if they're in guest user, which is interesting. Which ideally they would. So I'm testing it out myself on the other side. Because it seems wrong, but anyway, I'm just testing it to see that, because on my other computer I have a ton of drives connected, and I want to test it for myself because it's like, so they can get into all that. So that's,
and this is really strange too. So I just went and I said, yeah, delete the files, whatever. And then it says Microsoft Auto Update interrupted logout. To continue logging out, quit Microsoft Auto Update. So should I just press, there's two options, cancel or try again.
Yeah. So, hold on, no,
Cancel
okay.
me. I'm
Hold on,
canceling
hold
my-
on. Basically, if you're on a new account, it's trying to update your software there. And probably when you got into that, when it started updating Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
Because you're in a new account. And so basically it's doing it to me too. It's saying Microsoft Auto Update. So you can go and say cancel out of that. You don't want that to be updated. It's doing it to me too now that I'm testing it, and then you don't have to do that. But it is true that all my connected disks can be opened up and used. So if you're going to have someone that you, for any reason, don't trust or don't want them to mess up with your stuff, you probably should unplug your stuff while people are connected. Because in my guest account, although all my files are gone, I still can connect to my connected hard drives. So anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, but when you try to log out of your guest account, like you all might have noticed, it says delete files and log out, which is the Kim's question. And the delete files and log out means if the guest created any files, the only way for them to save those would be to email them to themselves or upload them online somewhere or put them on a flash drive and take them, because once they sign out, they are back, they'll be back into, all that stuff will go away. But it's stuff that was created on your account. So yeah, you're fine not saving that stuff. But if you do have something connected, like she has her backup disk, that one will be available or accessible. So now I've connected. Anyone else who has some feedback or questions about the process? And if you feel like it's going to be useful for you, you can leave it on. If you feel like, I'll never use this, then go back to your system preferences, and all you need to do is uncheck the box, and then it'll be there for whenever someday you want to use it. Any questions or feedback?
Yana, Kath here. I did it and it just came up as a black screen for Safari. That's all I got. It didn't give me the access to any of the programs I have. And I wondered if anybody else had that experience. It didn't give any access to Word or Excel. It was just the black screen for Safari. It said, you must log into the Wi-Fi in my house, which made sense, but that was all I got.
Black screen for Safari. I don't know what black
That was
screen
it.
could be.
Okay, well,
But
I
don't-
may have a one-off problem and I'll just look at it.
No,
separately.
that's interesting. I'm trying to think. You could have somehow in another place said something like don't even share. I'm trying to think where that would have been. Like you don't want even your software to be used. Would that have been through security and private? I'm trying to think where you could have had a choice. Do you have a file vault or a firewall on your computer?
I do have FireVault. I have Mac FireVault.
Okay, that's why. Okay, so by turning that on, then you're basically making there's no access to anything. So your guest user is kind of useless, so to say. If you have, because you're saying by putting on the FireVault that you don't want anything or anyone at all to be able to access this account. So you're not allowing any other account. So you couldn't even have another person have their own account. And so, yeah, that's because of the FileVault. Okay. So if anyone else had that experience, it's because of the FileVault. I have had very little experience with FileVault. All I do know, and this is important, that if you do have the FileVault on, if you are backing it up, that backup, unless you have all the access and the passwords and everything else, it's almost impossible. You can't reset your computer from a backup that's a FileVault, because it's making it so secure that it doesn't allow anything or anyone to copy that information. And if I was a celebrity or worried about my stuff, I would probably have figured out a lot more about that. But by not allowing you to even back up your stuff, to a backup that then can be used, then you're basically, your computer is a little vault and it's protected and so careful that no one get in and out. But if you lose all that stuff, it's lost because you can't even copy its stuff, because the idea is that it's so protected. You want to make sure that nobody, nothing ever gets into it. Okay. So consider if it file vaulting your files is really essential for you. Other than that, if you don't have a file vault on, which is 99% of everyone else in this class at least, or in general, then your protection to your stuff is just your password. Which if someone can break your password, they can get into your stuff. With the file vault, it's more complicated. But the negative of the file vault is you can't create safe backups in case something happens to your stuff. Okay. So those are the pros and cons.
But I do back up to a hard drive.
But if you try to install from that, you will have to go through many hoops and loops. And as long as you know all your passwords and all your stuff and whatnot and your firewall stuff, then that's fine. But some people forget that. Okay. And then that's it. It's like they're locked out of everything. I've had a student many years ago now, but her husband died. And she was locked out of everything, bank account, everything. She was locked out of absolutely everything. And it was tremendous because she didn't know how to get into the files because they were protected with the file vault. So just be careful. It's a big deal. And it's a big deal. And if you know how to access it, you're fine. And it's fine. That's the whole point of it. But you need to know how to access it. That's all. Okay, so that's why your guest didn't work, but that's good feedback for people to know. If you have a file vault on, the guest account won't be available. Okay, anyone else have any feedback? Again, if you think you'll never use it, just go back to your guest user and I'll show you right now in case you ever, those of you who decided this is cool, a couple people at the beginning said, oh, this is great. I didn't know I could use it that way. That's good. If you don't want it, then go back to your system preferences, click on unlock again. Okay. Put in your password, unlock again. And when you click on it, just turn this checkbox off. That's all you need to do. That's as simple as, that's all it took. Okay. And now you know that if someone comes to your house, then you can just come in and enable it and then tell them to do that. And it doesn't make any difference if it's always on or if you do it in the moment. It doesn't take up any more space or anything because none of those files, nothing stays on that. So it's not like you'll have files created that it'll occupy your space or anything, because as you saw, when you try to log out, it delete everything. So it doesn't take up any resources to have this available to you. But if you know that it's completely useless, don't keep it on, just turn it off. Okay, but this is giving you an idea that if you do want to share your computer with someone else, such as Becky and Owen, then you can actually create an account. And just like you saw with the guest user, you'll create an account. Say your daughter comes all the time and you want her to be able to use the computer and have files in there, but not your granddaughter, whatever, the kids you take care of. You want them to have an account always, but you don't want them messing around with yours. Then instead of creating the guest user, because maybe they want to be able to save some homework or stuff, then you actually create an account like that in their name. And to do that, it's the same, it's a similar process, but you press a plus because you don't have something here that says little Timmy or you know, little Susie. So you just do a plus and you put in the name little Timmy, little Susie, and then you can password or not, and then that's it. And then it'll show up just like these show up for me. And it'll say little Timmy, little Susie. And then when they come in and do their homework, they needed to click on the bubble. You log out of you, they click on the bubble that has their name. If you passworded it for them or not, then you put in their password and then they're in, and then they can do homework or play games or stuff like that and have it stay, but it won't mess up your stuff. Okay. All right, so that's as far as we're going to go with accounts. If someone has any questions about that, because you can say, oh yeah, I would like to make an account for so-and-so, and you do this and you run into any questions, go ahead and ask me when you do that, okay? The good news is then you can set up, the main thing is if it's spouses or someone in your own house that will constantly use it, you set up one Apple ID for this one and one Apple ID for that one, and then each one of these connects to their own phone. And so if this person puts in contacts or dates or calendar appointments for the doctor, that'll go to their phone. And then when this person sets up their own, that'll go to their phone. So you can have one computer act for two different people separately. Okay. not the guest. The guest is just for transient people, but this would be for people who truly use their computer all the time. All right, before we move on to that, any other questions before I move on forever from this subject matter? Any other questions or feedback or? Nope, we're done. All right, cool. So now I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and go back to the about this Mac window. So everyone go to the, I'm going to change what I'm sharing. Go to your, you can close your system preferences and you close them by clicking that little red dot on the top left of that screen. And now go ahead and open your Apple About This Mac so that you get to this window. So this is a little bit of review of what we did last week. Do you remember that from this window, I took you guys to the place where you could manage your storage and we got rid of any unwanted programs or unsupported programs. Remember we did that?
No.
Okay. So I want everyone to be here in this, and remember you go to Apple About This Mac, and that's where you get to here. And from here, how did we get to that screen? You want to remind me?
Storage.
Yep. You go into the storage. Okay. And once you're in storage, we had to go to manage. Okay. So storage and manage. And by doing that, and now today I'm connecting with a different computer than the one that I connected last time. So I have a different set of choices here to share with you. And I'm going to, when I do manage, then I'm in this window now. I have to keep changing what I share with you guys instead of showing everything so that it shows up big for you guys. So this is where we are. I did not clean this one out. This one will not have unsupported information because this one is still in Mojave. Last week I shared with one that was in a Catalina. So it had a lot of software that wasn't supported anymore, remember? But if you're in Mojave, it won't find unsupported stuff because Mojave still supports old stuff. All right, so it's calculating. I have, as you saw, I have like 3 different accounts in this computer. This is my little old slow, not mine, it's SB Bike's little old laptop. And so it's very slow. So it takes a while, but once it reads it, it knows. And if I head over to applications, this is what we did last week. And as you can see, I have in this computer very few applications. That's it. That's all I have. Versus last week I had shown you a ton. And none of them are unsupported because there's nothing old in here. It's just a couple of things. I don't even have Office. I don't have anything in this computer. So so up here on the left side, when you keep moving on, look at the difference between over here it says documents. And I have a lot of stuff in documents. Okay, not a lot, 53 gigabytes over it. And iCloud Drive. Now, when I try to go to iCloud Drive, it says enable iCloud Desktop and Documents. Don't do that if you don't want it. This is the equivalent of checking that little box on, the one that we saw through System Preferences. So for those of you who said, yes, I have my stuff in the cloud, now, right now, you're seeing a bunch of files. But for those of us who did not have it on, then you are seeing this little choice, which is to enable the desktop and documents. So this is another place where if you were to click on it, all your stuff that's in your documents or desktop folders would be transferred to the cloud. All right. Well, last time I showed you from the setup where I do have my stuff in the cloud. And so that's it in the iCloud Drive. So if you ever needed to be convinced that your stuff is in the cloud, for those of you who did see it, go in here to iCloud Drive, you will see that it's listing files that are in your computer, but they truly are in your iCloud Drive. For those of you who get this message, that means your stuff is still in your computer. Okay, this is another way to confirm that which we saw before. So is anything here, does this seem to confirm what you knew? Is anything different here from what I'm saying? Like, oh wait, I thought my stuff was not, and yet I'm getting this? Or is it?
Yeah, on mine, and I think it's because I have very little in storage, it's not showing anything there. And I'm wondering if it's that last line. It says, when you have enough storage, all your files will be stored on this Mac.
So when you came here to the iCloud Drive, do you see this same thing? It says enable iCloud desktop and document, is that or not?
No, I've already enabled it.
You've enabled it, but there's nothing there is what you're saying?
Correct.
It's, okay, someone has like sounds like spoons and plates and stuff. If so, please turn the sound off on you if you're eating, which is fine to do, just turn your sounds off. Okay, so can you, let me, instead of doing this, why don't you share your screen so I'll know how to understand what's happening. Can you please share that screen?
Okay, let me get back to Zoom.
And for anyone else who has questions about this, make sure to answer. Okay, so, all right, so you are using the iCloud Drive. It is using 104 megs of storage. And on the left side, you see your documents. So can you go up to where it says documents? Click on documents. Up at the top of documents, everyone, see how it says large, it says documents 561, and it says large files, downloads, and file browser. Okay, can you go to file browser for a second? Can you go to, there you go. See how you don't have on the left side, you don't have desktop or documents? So everyone, on the file browser, and you know, I need to back up and teach you more about this, but on the left side here, he says pictures, downloads, music, movies, applications, and public. You see that? But it's missing two important folders, which are desktop and documents. And they're not here because these files are up in the drive. They're not in his computer anymore, okay? So you don't even have them. So where all of his files, here it says file browser, pictures has almost 11 and a half, almost 12 gigabytes. That could be his photos in his iPhotos program, or they could be loose. Go ahead and click on pictures so we can see. So you have not only your photo library, which is 12-ish gigabytes. You also have an iPhotos library with 6.5 megabytes and a lot of smaller files. So the rest is small. Your biggie is all your photos library. Your downloads has a lot of stuff. That's almost half a gigabyte there. So click on downloads. Look at all the stuff that's in downloads. And this is something that we're all going to be talking about in a minute. But if you scroll down, you probably have a ton of stuff. None of it's too big, but it does add up because there's a ton of stuff in there. And one of the things you're going to learn today is that you need to have your files either in desktop, not desktop, in your documents folder, or trashed. But your downloads should end up empty by the time we're done with this. Okay, so everyone. In music, you seem to have a little bit in music, probably just the setup files. Yeah, nothing really there. In movies, you have nothing there. Et cetera, et cetera. Applications has its own choice, and in public you have nothing. So basically the only thing you really need to work on to clean out at this point is your downloads, and then we're going to look in your files, but we can't look in your files here because they're not here. We'll have to go look at them through the file browser. Okay, so when you go to iCloud Drive, that's what's holding your actual documents in desktop.
During the break, though, when we had to shut off the computer anyway, when I turned it back on, I initially shut off Wi-Fi, and I was still able to access documents that...
Exactly. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So for you guys who are worried, here, go ahead and I'm going to stop your sharing, because I want to explain more. Right now, I'm going to head over to the file browser to explain more things to you guys, so that what she just shared right now without some backup knowledge might be a bit too hard for you guys to interpret, and I don't want to lose you guys. I want this to work for you all. But one thing's important is that when I say your files are up in the drive in the cloud, he said, oh, well, but when I disconnected from the internet, my files were still there. Because when I say stuff is in the cloud, your first thought is, oh, well, then I can only access them when I'm online, right? But no, the way it works with the Mac, which is, so if you're accustomed to Google Docs or something like that, the moment you disconnect from the internet, you can't access it anymore. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. But for people who do use Google Docs, they're only accessible when you're online. But this version of having your stuff in the computer really be on the cloud is kind of cool, because if you are online, then you're basically working on the files and they're fine, they're online. But if, say that you take your computer, and I always give the example of camping. I take my laptop camping, there's no Wi-Fi. When I open up my computer, I still see my files on my computer. I see them there. I go, okay, I'm gonna keep writing my novel. I write 2 more chapters of my novel because now I'm inspired by the outdoors, whatever. My computer saves that file, fine. But since I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, what's on the cloud is still the old thing without those 2 chapters. The moment I walk in home with my computer and my computer turns on and connects to Wi-Fi, then what's in my computer updates to the cloud, and now both of them have the latest version of the 2 extra chapters. Does that make sense? It's it allows you to keep working on your files while you're disconnected, and then when you connect, it updates them. Now, if you always work on your computer when you're home, they're always updated. But the moment you take your computer away from Wi-Fi, or you have your Wi-Fi disconnects, you have a power outage, whatever, but your battery is still running and you can keep working. When power comes back on, or when you walk in back into the moment when you're back in Wi-Fi, then things connect again. Okay, so that's the good news of this Apple system. The stuff is on your cloud, but you still have access to your files, kind of like a version, a link to them that is still available in your computer. I'm going to have us all look at this stuff now through our actual computer file browser instead of through this app. But if any other questions, so that was a great point you made, Owen, and thanks for letting me clarify that. When stuff is up in the cloud, you still have access to it even when you're not online. But it won't sync automatically so that your changes happen until you're back on Wi-Fi. Is that pretty clear? So having stuff on your computer is hard to distinguish other than these places I'm telling you, because for the most part, people go, but my stuff is in my computer. What do you mean I don't have them? So that's why I had to lead you through these 2 kind of weird places for you to confirm whether your stuff really was in the cloud or not. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to now close all those windows. And
Anna?
Yes?
I don't have the iCloud Drive option. Does that matter?
Had you answered that? I don't remember now, because since y'all had to sign in again, I don't have your letter. Did you have your stuff on the drive or on your computer?
Not on the cloud. Not on the cloud.
They're not on the cloud.
Oh,
So then
wait. That's right, not on the cloud.
So then that's why you don't have the iCloud Drive option,
Okay.
because your stuff is in your computer. Okay. Any other question, you guys? Anyone else who has something to say or ask before I? Okay, so now let's go see this just on how it looks on your computer. So just how it looks on your computer, you would have to have some files on, let me, hold on, share my regular desktop now. Here we go. I'm sharing my desktop. And in this desktop, this is a Mojave computer. This is still my little laptop. If I go and say, well, I have, if say that I'm the kind of person that has a lot of stuff on my desktop, like a smattering of stuff here on my desktop. We're going to talk about that I highly recommend not to have stuff on your desktop, but if you do, then it looks like you're here. Like the screenshots here, looks like it's on my desktop. Well, I don't know if it's on my desktop or not, even if I see it, until I check the things that I had you check or my actual Finder. So my Finder is the place on the computer where you get to see your files. If I look at this empty desktop right now, I have no idea. It's like looking at a house that's all shuttered up for the winter. It's a vacation home and all the windows are closed, the doors are closed, there's nothing there. It's like, oh, it's a nice little picture, but I have no idea what's inside this computer. So to see inside of it, I need to open a window and then I can peer in and go, ooh, this looks dusty. This is the living room. This is the kitchen. I'm going to look inside my computer. To do that, okay, someone, okay, I'm going to mute everyone. Okay, I've just muted everyone because someone's phone is ringing on their computer, which I didn't know if you knew, but you can do that. You can have your phone ring through your computer. Now, since I didn't know who it was happening to, I muted everyone. So if you need to speak to me, know that you're all, I've just silenced everyone. Okay, so so I'm going to open up a Finder, and there's so many different ways to open up the Finder window. And one way is over here, this little on the dock on the very bottom. Let me turn on the little mouse thingy that helps you see my mouse better again. Every time I change my share, I have to do it again. Here we go. Here's my mouse with a little light on top. And down here on the Finder, if I click on that one time, a Finder window will open up. So everyone open up a Finder window, please. Okay, so if you open up a Finder window, you will find that, first let me make sure that everyone opened up a Finder window. Did y'all open up a Finder window? Again, this icon on the desktop never goes away. It's the one that stays there. So click on it one time and a window will open. What this window is doing is it's showing me the insides of my computer. It's like I've walked into my house, open up the front door, and then I see there's a door to the left, that's my kitchen, a door to the right, that's a bathroom. In the front, I can see the living room. On the left side, I can see a door to a garage, whatever it is, right? Bedrooms. It's like I can start seeing the spaces in my computer. And the spaces in my computer that I can see are these ones that are here to the left. It might say applications or desktop or documents or downloads. It could say, for some of you, movies and pictures. It could say iCloud Drive. It could say recents. It could say all files. It changes according to your computer setup, okay? But you should all have something here on the left side that you can click from place to place, okay? One thing that every single one person will have here would be the applications. Every single person should be able to see the applications here on the left side. Everyone should see that.
I don't.
Okay. If you don't have an applications here on the left side, then there's one other option.
I don't have anything. All I have is a screen with a bunch of boxes that are labeled when I click on the Finder.
You see something like that?
Yes.
And you don't have it on the left side. Okay, so here's the thing. It's possible that your window is so small that that has disappeared. So maybe try to make your window a bit bigger. Okay. And if not, then look at my screen up here. And this is just for Cynthia, who says she can't see the sidebar. Go up here, Cynthia, to the top where it says view and say show sidebar. You would, mine says hide sidebar because I'm seeing it. Yours should say show sidebar. Okay. Did that help?
I have that option. I can show the chat or show manage participants. Oh, I'm in Zoom. That's why. Okay.
Yeah. Go to your, it needs to say Finder up there. And when it says Finder, click somewhere on your desktop to have it say Finder, and then go to view, show sidebar. Okay. So if your window is very small like this, then your sidebar disappears. See that? So I made my sidebar disappear because I made a very small window. But if your window is big, it's possible for you not to see your sidebar by having this turned off, in which case you need to say show
Mm-hmm.
sidebar. I would rather no one change that. We always want to see our sidebar, but at least you know how to turn it on or off. Go to view, hide sidebar, it's gone. This is very useless. You should always be showing it. So go back if you turn it off to show sidebar. Okay, so that's how you
Yeah, I don't have that option.
Okay, so now you're gonna have to share your screen with me because I can't imagine you don't have that option. And
Okay.
it's, I mean, I can't imagine, obviously you don't see it. So I need to show you how to find it. So share your screen, please. Now,
Okay, I hit share screen.
mhm,
Did it
and
work?
then no, because you have one more thing to do. Once you hit your share screen, there's another window on the bottom right, another button, sorry, on the bottom right. That's a little blue button that says share screen. Or you could be facing something that says open system preferences. You need to change your security settings. Are you seeing
I don't
that?
want to hold everybody else up. Just
Okay,
move
stop.
along.
Oh, wait,
This
wait.
is hard.
Listen, not only Cynthia, but the entire class. This class needs to function with you sharing your screen. So if you don't share your screen, I can't help you. That holds up the class more, or you stop coming next week because what the hell, you can't help. You can't use your computer. So everyone has to go
You know,
through the
I
steps
just
of
lost
sharing.
the whole screen.
Mm-hmm. So I'd rather walk you through learning how to share your screen, which everyone has to do once. And everyone is going to make everyone wait the first time they share their screen, because then that's it. It never is a problem after the first share. So someone has to sit through sharing the first time, and you all have to be patient with each other. So without panicking, explain to me what you're seeing.
Okay, hit the green share screen button.
Yeah.
And nothing happened.
Okay, so when you hit your share screen button, what you have in front of you, there's two options. Do you see something saying you need to change your system preference, or do you see a dialog box saying you need to change your security settings? Do you see a window like that somewhere?
No.
Okay, then do you see if you're seeing a white screen with lots of little windows, at the bottom right of that one, you should be seeing a little share button with white letters, light blue button on the bottom right. Bottom right of your screen that you're seeing, do you see a little share?
No, I just see a list of things because I changed it to list. I thought maybe that would help. But
oh, but you're looking at, that's your window. That's not your Zoom right now. That's your window, your computer window. So that's not your Zoom share screen. So go back to Zoom. On the top, by the apple, it should say Zoom.
I lost it. Oh wait, there it is. Okay, Zoom.
Okay.
Meeting.
If you're back in
Go
Zoom.
to Zoom meeting. Go to.
No, if it says Zoom up there on top, then go to whatever window is
Yes.
showing my face or your face or all of that, and then click on the share screen button.
There's nothing showing you or me or anybody.
You're in Zoom, but
your
you're
shared
not,
screen over on the right.
I'm not sharing my screen, so you can't see a shared screen.
Oh,
from me.
okay.
So do you
this
see
is-
anywhere the button, the big green share screen button?
Yes. Okay.
Click
Share
on it.
screen. Okay.
Okay.
I clicked
Now,
on
now
it.
what are you saying? Now what are you seeing? Is it a
I'm
white?
seeing you in a box on the left, and then I'm seeing something that says whiteboard,
Okay,
iPhone,
great,
iPad,
great.
Finder, resource.
Okay, on that screen, bottom right, look at the very bottom right corner of that screen, and do you see a little share button that's light blue? The same screen that says
No,
whiteboard
I
and
see
all of
one
that.
that says share computer. There are two messages at the bottom. One says share computer sound. The other one says optimize screen share for video clip.
Okay, on the far right, far right of that one, scroll down. Do you see a little share button?
I can't even move this screen right now.
You probably have something in the way because you should be seeing a little blue share screen button. So let's do this. If you can't see that share screen there, because you're describing, I know exactly what you're seeing. you should be seeing on the right, the square screen. So for some people, there's other windows covering it and stuff like that. So can you stay behind at the end of class so I can help you figure out how to share your screen? Can you stay a little bit after class today? Okay.
Sure.
All right, just wanted to confirm that. Okay, so yes, Marie?
May I do a quick share screen because I've never put things into the Finder.
Yes,
I
please
have
share.
a Clutter desktop here.
Okay, please share your screen with me.
Oops, let's get this guy over. There you go.
Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, we've talked about yours before. One of the things I want to say, because I tend to forget, is that this class is over 11:35, and last time I went over and I kept thinking it was the one that's over at 11:55, but it's actually 11:35. So I just wanted to clarify that for people who, because of my fault from last week, had it unclear.
Hey, you remembered.
I did remember.
I was going to remind you at 11:30,
Oh,
but
thank
you
you.
remembered ahead of time.
I had assigned Justine to remind me. Thank you, Justine. Okay, so here's an example of two things are happening. On the left side, on the window where she's sharing, do you see how this, I was going to say the other option for many of you could be what's happening to Marie. So I'm glad that you showed that. Go up to your window, the little white window that you're sharing for a second. And on the left side, you see how it said on the sidebar, how it says iCloud, and then above it says favorites. Yeah. So go ahead and move to the right and click on the word show. Ah, thank you. Now put your mouse on in between the gray and the white and extend that so you can see what it says. So put your, yeah, thank you. Not, doesn't need to be so much, just, you know, have, as long as we can see like the word Marie Morisseau, that's enough. Like, because you like move it down to as big as your name. Yeah, go back to where you were with that mouse in between. No.
Oh.
Yeah, just, it doesn't need to be, you're trying to see searching photography. So we'll go to the, yeah, that's big enough. Okay, we don't want it to be so big. Okay, now make it bigger. Okay, so see how she's going to the corner? Can you show that gently? So she's going to the very corner. Just put your mouse over the tip. And now you're pulling it, but move it, stop pulling it. And stop, now move your mouse out of that and notice, there you go. When her mouse is out somewhere else, it looks like a mouse. When she touches the tip of that bottom right corner, just touch the tip, don't do anything. See how it turns into a double-headed arrow? That's the place you click on. And now when you click on, now you can make it thinner, wider, or smaller like she was doing. So do that again, Marie, please. So when you click on that tip, see how you can change the size? So that's what everyone needs to be doing. Okay, perfect, thank you. Now, on the left side here, her favorites were not showing. So can you go back to favorites? Look up at the word favorites and see how when you hover over it, you need to be hovering over the word favorites for it to say hide. See on the little right side how it's saying the word hide? Click on hide and it disappears. So a lot of you guys who were not seeing desktop documents or whatever, it's because you're hiding it. The moment you're hiding it, it switches to say show. Click on show. And it shows, okay? So that changes. It says hide or show according whether you're showing them or not. So the other option of why you might not be seeing them was that maybe you were hiding, and I was going to demo it in mine, but there we go. Now we're seeing it in hers. So go to your favorites word, hover over the word, and see how you can now show or hide your favorites. Now, you want to be seeing them. So to be seeing them, you need to be seeing the word hide because that's showing you everything you want. So the word show and hide is a bit complicated until you get it. That the word hide is there because you are seeing them. Once you click the word hide, click one more time on the word hide. Now the word says show because you are not seeing them, because you are hiding them. And we're going to see the word show hide a lot of times. So this is a perfect example of practicing it. When it says show, it's because you're not seeing them. So click. Click again, and now you're seeing them, so it says hide. Okay, enough of that, but I want you guys to practice that, show and hide, because sometimes by mistake, you don't know that you're not seeing them because you clicked in here inadvertently, and then you go, oh, where is all my stuff? Okay, click show one more time, and we're gonna leave it on show now. That's what you need to do when your stuff seems to disappear. All right, now here on her left, Marie has had her computer for a long time, and so she sees a whole bunch more stuff than I saw. She sees documents. She sees a search. She sees a little house that says Marie Morisseau, which is her computer's name. It's her name, but it's also her computer's name at this point. She sees downloads, desktop, recents, airdrop, pictures, music, movies, applications, and Creative Cloud. She sees everything that's possible to be seen. For anyone else, you will be seeing all of this or less, okay? Like in my computer, when I shared mine, I only saw airdrop, recents, applications, desktop, documents, and downloads. That's it. The rest was not showing. Does that make sense? So there's choices about what or not goes in here. If you have a computer like she has, who's had it for a while, and she keeps updating and changing her OS, in the past, you got to see all of this. This is like, you know, years ago. As we began upgrading, the new versions don't let you see everything because they don't want you to mess up stuff in your computer. So although the options are there, they hide them from you, so you don't see them. So people who bought their computers at a later time, they're newer. Like the computer isn't what's new or not, but if you first started owning a computer when you were already in Yosemite or in stuff like that, then already your choices are less. And if you started buying a computer when you had Catalina, you have even less. So the people, in her case, she might have a new computer or not, but as you upgrade, the settings remain, they grandfather in that you keep seeing what you used to see, which is why in this class of, you know, 23 people, you probably have all a different set of things that you're seeing on the left based on when you brought your computer, what got grandfathered in, what happened to be necessary and not. So you're all going to be seeing different things in here, okay? That's all right. That's not a problem. The important thing is the following. Go click on the word documents, Marie. Okay. Her documents are under favorites. If you look, if you keep scrolling all the way down and you see the word iCloud, can you scroll your mouse down all the way until you see the iCloud? If your documents show up here under iCloud, that's another inkling that your documents are in the cloud. The desktop for you shows up in the favorites again. So go to desktop favorites. There's her desktop, documents and desktop. See that? This means that your stuff is on your computer. If desktop and documents appear underneath under iCloud, that means that your desktop and documents are on the cloud. Does that make sense? So this is the third place where you can confirm that your stuff is or isn't in the documents in the cloud. So for those of you who said yes, that you saw that your check mark was on, your desktop and documents should be showing up. Can you move your mouse down again, please, to iCloud? Should be showing up right there. That's where your desktop and documents should be showing up. Now, this is the only other inkling you have, because beyond that, your stuff does look as if it's on your computer. If you have stuff on your desktop like she does, it would be on your computer. It would look as if it's on your computer, okay? It's just here's where there's a difference. All right. Now, that's all I was hoping to show you right now, but I do want to mention to her question that all her stuff is on her desktop. See how she on her desktop has a ton of stuff? This is completely unrecommended. How do I say? It's the opposite of what should be happening.
How do I get them off the desktop then?
We will do that. Next Thursday, in 2 days, we will start the process of figuring out where things should go. So right now, just know that if you have a ton of stuff on your desktop like she does, that is, to put it a term that is, you know, what's right and what's wrong in this world. But according to what's right and what's wrong for the Mac, this is wrong. Why? It's important to know. It's because it slows down your computer. It is it's the least efficient way of using your computer. That's why. Beyond that, if you have a very fast computer with a lot of space, I mean, your computer still works. It's just not ideal. Let's say it that way. But it's not going to kill your computer. It's just going to slow it down when you're beginning to get full. That's all. Because this empty space on your desktop is what allows your computer to run. And if you're beginning to have problems with things slowing down or things getting kind of sludgy, one choice would be to empty out your desktop. So I'm going to teach you on Thursday how to do that. So hold on to your question, Marie. Now, for the documents, the same. If you click on your documents and it's rather empty, that's where, no, it's not rather empty. You have stuff in here, but everything should be in here. But it would be hundreds of things in here, right? So we're going to learn how to put this in files and folders to make things easier for you to handle. And the last thing I want you to look at is your downloads. So go down to your downloads, 2 or 3 choices down. Yeah. For every single person who has a downloads folder, in her case, she only has 6 items. That's awesome, because when she is done with downloads, she either gets rid of them or she moves them to the right place. But I venture to say that this is where a lot of people are going to find hundreds to thousands of things. And this is a place that we also need to clean up. So the desktop and the downloads are the stuff that we're going to be working with for people to clean up. And we're going to be working with where to put things on the documents folder. Okay. So that's the preview of what we're doing on Thursday. Once again, the important thing is this left sidebar has to be visible and you have to be able to see your stuff. So now the class is over. I'm going to ask Cynthia if you can stay with me so I can help with this with you too. And I'm also going to ask Tracy, you still there? I can help you change your name. And I think that's it. Everyone else has changed their names. So if you want to hang out and see how I help people, that's fine. But other than that, this is the official goodbye time class, except for the people who I need to help.
I have to leave next week before 10.
Next week, on Thursday, you mean?
Yeah, well, bad timing.
That's okay, because we're going to be working with this. Definitely, yes, pick up the video, but we're going to be working with this for a couple of classes. Okay, the whole file arrangement, where to put them. So yeah, it's not a one-off deal. This is going to take a few classes. So
thank you.
Take as much as you can for 1 hour, and then after that, watch the video. All right, guys. So Tracy, really quickly, you need to change your email, right?
Yep.
All right, so the process is relatively simple, and Kim is already gone. Oh, shoot, I should have stopped her. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna share my screen. What you need to do is you need to go to City College site. So I'm gonna open up Safari and go to sbcc.edu. For anyone else who needs to change anything in Pipeline, I'm showing her that. Go to Pipeline and sign in. Okay, so I'm logging in. And now go to student non-credit. Okay, and under student non-credit, here you see personal information. Update your address, phone number, emergency order information. Click on that and you can put in your new email in there.
So I've done, in there, it's how I want it to be. And that's a Gmail account.
Okay.
But you're referring to an old Cox account. And
can you
I
share?
don't see that Pipeline.
Okay, I don't want to share my personal information, so I'm not clicking on that. But if you click on yours, read to me what it says.
Oh, I got to log in.
I was showing you this for you to do it. Okay. Meanwhile, until you get there, let me help other people.
Okay.
So Cynthia, remind me again, it wasn't so much about sharing, but you also you were not able to see the applications folder, you told me, right?
Right, when I'm in Finder.
Okay, so was it related to seeing the hide and show that I shared or not? Even when the hide and show, you still don't see applications?
No. No, I was supposed to be able to go to view and see a menu down the left side of my screen, but I see nothing.
Okay, so
in Finder application.
So I can't, to help you with that, I need to see your screen. So we need to work on sharing your screen again. Are you sure you've turned every single application else that you have on? So if you go to your computer and under the dock, any dots that you see, that means that that application is on and that could be in the way. So can you, or do you know how to close a lot of different applications, or should I show you?
I don't know, but I don't think there's anything open.
Okay.
I haven't been using the computer except for today.
Well, but that doesn't mean much. And let me explain why. I'm going to share my screen. And it's a good point, but it doesn't mean much because, okay, so I'm sharing my screen right now. And I haven't used this computer today, but if you notice down here, I have a dot on Safari. Here I have a dot under Mail. Here I have a dot under Calendar. Here I have a dot under Zoom.
Yeah.
Because programs still stay open even if you're not using them. Okay. So if you
I have some dots.
Okay, so if you have a dot, for example, in Calendar, you can right click and say quit.
Okay.
And then if you have it under Mail, you can right click. So right click on the icon. Do you know how to right click? Have you tried that? Have you practiced the right click?
Yes. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm
so
closing.
right click and quit. So right click and quit everything. That way you
There
don't...
were just two.
Okay, cool. So but that helps clean it up, right? So there's less stuff on your screen. Now you should only have Zoom open, like I have over here.
Just Zoom, not the internet, Safari, right?
Yeah, if you don't need right now Safari, close Safari. It's Windows that might be in the way. When you're first trying to share, I don't want anything else in the way. Later you can have things on and you'll be able to do that. But first share, make sure that you have everything turned off.
And the only other thing with a dot on it is Finder.
The Finder, and that should be there. So now in the Finder open,
okay.
Do you have a Finder window? It's just, in your issue, the only is that you're not seeing the sidebar, right? You're seeing something like this is what you're telling me?
I'm just seeing the list of all my files or whatever they are.
Well, you have a whole list like this under list view. You see something like this is what you're seeing?
No, I'm seeing like things that I've filed away, like books and
okay,
leases.
Good. That's fine. So maybe you're under documents or something like that and you're seeing a bunch of stuff. That's fine. The issue is that you are not seeing the sidebar. Okay. Did you check and see if perchance you see favorites collapsed and you need to say show? You don't even have a sidebar, so you can't do that.
No, I have no sidebar at all.
All right, so now that you're here, click on this window. Make sure that it says Finder there. If you go to View, what options do you have under View?
As icons, as list, as columns,
Okay,
as
keep going
galleries.
down, keep going down, keep going down, and then you should keep going down, user groups, keep all the way down, and then you should see show or hide sidebar.
There's nothing else.
There's nothing else. After as gallery, you see nothing else.
Nothing.
That's bizarre. Wow. That is bizarre. I mean, I teach people this stuff because I'm going to have you guys show this all the time. What OS do you have?
As icons, as list, which is checked.
No, I see that.
Columns,
yeah.
And as gallery.
What Mac OS do you have? Is it Catalina? Is it Mojave? I mean, it doesn't matter. They should be showing on all of them, but okay.
It's Catalina.
All right. So the only way I can help you is with sharing. So let's see if I can get you to share your screen, although you might have some weird stuff set up there too. So let me close all these guys. Warning me about the power outages. Okay. All right, so let's try the share your screen again one more time. By the way, meanwhile, Tracy, have you found a way to change your personal info? I can't hear you. Your sound is off.
I have the other computer. So under email addresses, I have personal. That is correct. That's how I want it. And then underneath that, it has the Santa Barbara City College pipeline email. And it's just my TDORNet pipeline. But next to that, it says preferred. Should I take that off?
Either way, if you prefer to have your stuff go to your email, it doesn't matter too much because meaning it could be that you had some people have two different pipeline accounts, teachers, administrators, and so they might prefer to have one or the other, but in your case, you only have one down there. So preferred there doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Some people have two different official pipeline type of accounts. But your email private what I want to make sure is that the private email is the one that you want to use. That's the one that matters to me right now. Is that the one that you want? Not your Cox, which you say is not in use, but your Gmail.
Right.
It's your Gmail.
Yeah, and it's functioning.
Okay.
But you see the Cox one, right? Which is
you used to have your Cox there, yeah. So what I don't know right now is whether that has, when did you change, when did you switch that to your Gmail?
I probably tried to first do it when Cox started screwing up. So that was probably maybe a year and a half ago.
Okay, so that's.
But I wonder if I actually have 2 pipeline accounts.
Well, I'll give you in a second the pipeline account because some people do have issues with their pipeline accounts. So I'm going to tell you right now the pipeline account that you're signed up for this class under. So let me go back to you.
I think that's gmtcrimmy@gmail.
Hold on. Okay, so right now, hold on. I just downloaded yesterday the new roster, hoping that everyone had updated their emails. So give me a sec while I open that up. And in the new roster, where is it? Hold on. Under downloads, because I just downloaded it. This is what is coming through for you. A second, and I'll read to you what I have. So under, and I'm not sharing this because it's, everyone's roster and everyone's personal information, but I see T. Dordan at Pipeline. So that's your Pipeline account. Okay. And your personal email is showing up as Gmail. So yeah, it's working now.
Okay.
The one that you had before, which was Cox, is gone, and it's just T. Dordan. So you're fine. You're all set. So your change has worked. Okay, cool.
Maybe it's had a big delay before it. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe City College had to do an update or something.
Well, but you went and asked for help just now, didn't you? To someone? Didn't you call Emma?
No, I was going to call her if I had to sign off early from class today because the tree trimmers are outside. I have to keep
so then
running
I don't know why, but between the when you signed up for class and now, you have the right email in there now. So cool. That's all that mattered. All right. All right. So back to Cynthia then. All right. So Cynthia.
Yes.
Let's try and share your screen again. So go to Zoom. Can you click on your Zoom account?
Okay. What do you mean click on my Zoom account?
Zoom. Okay, you're right. Go down to, like in the dock, or even better, not even in the dock, but it's even better. You can click on the little blue icon that's in the dock. And when you do that, the Zoom US pops up by the Apple.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that means you're in Zoom. So what are you seeing when you are on Zoom? Like, are you seeing me talking at you? Are you seeing the whole little Brady Bunch with different faces? What are you seeing?
I see you big at the bottom, and then my name, and then you, and the other girl on the top.
Okay, so you're seeing this. You're seeing the shared. You're saying me as the main view. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, go to share screen.
Okay. I clicked on share screen.
Okay. Now in front of you have the one that says whiteboard and phone and all those things. Is that what you're seeing now? Okay. What you should be seeing now is on the bottom right of that screen. If you go with your eyes, really go to the bottom right of that screen that says whiteboard and all that. Do you see a little light blue button that says share?
Yes, now I do.
Good. Probably something else was in the way before. So now click
Yep.
on that button.
Okay.
Cool. Now you're sharing. Perfect. So it was that little white, red button, blue button that I was leading to you before that you couldn't see. It was probably because you had other stuff over it. And now that you've closed all your stuff, it was accessible. All right, good. Now, let's see this incredible thing. Now, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say request remote control. And I'm going to say request. And when you try to say yes or no, you were probably set to the privacy settings. Can you see my request?
Yes.
Can you click on approve and let's see if it lets you? No. Okay, great. So now say open system preferences. And now click on the little box to the left. No, click on the lock to make changes at the bottom first. Put in your password. Yep, say use password, put in your password, which will show up as bubbles, so it's no problem for us. Okay. All right, say unlock. And now click on the little box to the left of the Zoom US, right there where your mouse is. Go to the left and there's a, yeah, perfect. Okay, now you can close the system preferences. Just click on that little red box on top to close it up. Red dot, red button. Perfect. And now I am able to be controlling your screen. So now this mouse is mine. So we can't both do it at the same time. So keep your mouse out of use. And let me see what's happening here. Oh, there it is. Show sidebar.
See, it wouldn't come up before when I clicked view. I don't know why.
Okay. It's maybe you were clicking over here in this little view.
View because I couldn't. Okay, this wasn't really visible before.
Yeah. So what's happening is that you're seeing this only by text and not by icons. To make it easier, I'm going to right click on this and ask you to see icon and text. Okay. So now you see this with icons and text. And so now you know that this is different than that. Over on the top menu is you will always see the majority. This is reduced sets, and the top there gives you the choices for everything. So now I'll let you do it. Go up to view there and say show sidebar to the top view. Okay, go say show sidebar. Yeah. Oh, you moved. Yep. Click show sidebar. Okay. Perfect. Now make that sidebar a little bit bigger. Put your mouse in between where it's light and dark. No, in between. Yeah, in there, and drag it to the right. Not so much, just enough to see. Okay. And then you do have this whole thing where the favorites are hidden. So go up to the word favorites and now say show. Cool. Okay. Now you're seeing everything. Now you can click on applications, which is where we discovered you couldn't do this. And I said, click on applications, and now you see your applications, documents, desktop, whatever. Now this is confirming that your stuff is on your computer and not in the cloud, by the way. Otherwise you would be seeing desktop and documents under the little iCloud. Okay, so now you're set. So next Thursday when we start working, you'll be fine. This is this place everyone should be in. Okay?
Okay, now do we have to do anything to get you off my computer? Or?
I've already stopped you, so we're done.
Not that I'm worried about it, but I just...
No. I just stopped the sharing and that's it. I have no access to anything anymore. You always have to say okay and approve to access me. You never, it's not like you've given me forever. Next time I ever want to say, can I use your computer? You'll again have to approve it. Okay. So it's not like.
Thank you so much. I have one more quick little question. Okay.
Hold on, because Jeannie has been wanting to ask a question for a while. So let me answer Jeannie.
Thanks.
Jeannie.
Yes, Deanna, is it possible for me to also try to open mine so in case I take time to do this, I won't waste time in class?
That's a good idea. That way people feel uncomfortable. So go ahead and give it a try. Click on this share screen.
Okay.
Do you see the big share screen, green share screen button?
Clicking the little blue button.
Okay, now you have the blue button, and there you go. Simple. Perfect.
Oh, and I didn't have to authorize it then, even though I have.
Some people have the settings where it's already authorized, or other times maybe you've already shared your screen with someone, and as long as you authorize it one time, it's always authorized to share. So you never have to do it again. So you're set. You're welcome. Now do you see the stop share button on the middle red button? Yeah, stop share. Perfect. Now you can, every time I say, hey, can you share your screen? You know, it takes 2 seconds. really, once you know how to do it in 2 seconds, it's easier because then I can see the problem than it is to try to describe it. So Cynthia was trying to describe the view and I was like, yeah, view, but because we were talking about a different view. That's why the moment you know how to share it, I can resolve your problems much faster. Even if it takes a while for the first share, it makes any other share go much faster. And also, like you just did, Jeannie, staying behind to test it. Now you trust that if I say share, you don't need to get flustered because it truly is. Once you set it up, you're done. You're set up. So in the future, you'll be able to do it. So I'm glad you did that. And I think that's it for questions, right? Everyone?
I have one
let's choose
question.
Cynthia. All right,
I feel really stupid, but the
no.
only way I've been able to access the class is to go back to the email that I got from Emma and click on the link. I don't know how to put the link somewhere. If I go to SantaBarbaraCityCollege.zoom.us, is there some way to get
Okay,
to
that's
that?
a good point. Well, first of all, now that I have your correct email, now that I have the estate agents, before I didn't have it, I'm going to go and amend every morning for everyone else. They've been receiving an email from me saying this is the link. So all you need to do is check on the email the day I send it in the future.
Okay.
But the other option would be to copy that link from Emma's email and then put it in, like, do you use the Notes app, for example?
Yeah, I don't even know how to copy something.
Okay, well then you'll learn, that's fine. Then you'll learn that's this class. Don't worry, I'm adding you now. I'm adding you now to the right place because now that you have your email, and every like Thursday morning, you'll get an email. I think I send it, I think it's scheduled to go off at 5 or 6 a.m. or something. And it says click here for the class. So you'll be fine.
Okay, thank you
All
so
right?
much.
You're welcome. And
Okay.
no question is stupid. Remember, no question is stupid. Thanks for asking. All right,
Okay.
Grace? I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Maybe click on the space bar to talk to me, or click on the microphone to unmute yourself.
Oh,
Okay.
now, see,
Great.
that helped me.
Okay, great.
I just, now, I had these things on top and I couldn't see the space bar on the bottom.
Yeah, that's why closing all your extra programs really helps because nothing gets in the way.
Okay.
So when you're in class or during class, kind of like I showed Cynthia, a good thing, and I'm going to show you in mine again, a good thing to do is to go down to your dock, and if you see little dots on things that you can, then you can right click and say, right now mine are all closed because I showed her how to close them, but say that if Safari was open in the background, you might not see it open. You might see it that it's hidden, but if you see a little dot down there, it's open, right? And some of those windows might be in your way. So go to anything that has a dot and right click and say quit. And then by doing that, you get rid for real of all that extra stuff. And then that leaves only the Zoom US, and it becomes much easier to not have stuff in the way. All right. So what were you trying to show me or do?
No, I think I've lost my email. I mean, my password. So I'm going to try to get a hold of Emma.
Your password for City College, like the pipeline password? Yeah, I can't help you with that. I don't have access to people's records, so you need to ask Emma for that help. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
All right. I wish I could help you, but I can help you with other stuff, but not with that one.
Very good.
All right. Okay, everyone. Have a great couple of days. I'll see you on Thursday.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.